of moral authority. Character being the first one. Consistency being the second one. And of course, competence. Character is being and becoming a moral example. So we need character to have moral authority. But we also need competence. We must be good at what we do. And whatever you say you are doing, do it well. Carpenter, plumber, broadcaster, whatever you do, be competent at it. But competence must be repeated for excellence to be established. Competence must be repeated or exhibited repeatedly for excellence to be established. Because excellence is not an act, it's a habit. So it's not enough to be competent once. You must repeatedly do things in a competent and...
No, this is an adoption of the willingness.
Hey! Oh my God.
No, all he did in the song was just...
We have to call him Bonnie Wheeler. Charlie, it's my favorite Adam Reku song.
No, that's not.
You know, he has other songs.
Yeah.
But this one, Charlie, this song.
How did they drop the wheeling intermittently? Cast and when necessary.
When I was in the UK, there was a day I just missed Ghana. So I dropped Adam Reku.
That's why you have to do one logo like with your colleague.
Me alone.
With your handkerchief.
You come on your one handkerchief.
I have to leave this country and come back to Ghana. Hey, Charlie, Adam Reku, they beat too much. Yeah, so good morning to Elder. Is it Kwesi Mreku?
Yeah.
He's been doing this. You know, his albums are over 50.
No,
the guy be champion, Charlie.
He holds a record in that space.
No. It will be a class prefect. Every musician's class prefect.
Thank you.
Hey, but Charlie, you shut up now.
Yeah, I have a few things to attend.
No, you're a big man.
No, this is Buckingham trained barrister.
Thank you. Somebody said something. Fiat justicia ruat coelum.
Yes, let justice be done.
Though the heavens fall.
Maybe so.
I tell you. The law school, we all go some. We all go.
I tell you.
The lawyer, no, we go chop some. Yeah, because Charlie, this time.
I thought you have told
Charlie,
me that you didn't want to go
this
into
past week has taught me that if I don't do law, Charlie,
very well, when the time comes, I will sign the necessary papers.
I will watch the Supreme Court thing and say, what is this?
So,
hey!
Yeah, that's the law.
No. Anyway, let's get the headlines.
The Ghanaian Times says this morning at 53rd Cadet Officers Graduation, we need firm election policing. That's coming in from the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Also on the front page this morning, Boku conflict. CJ orders closure of 7 courts in Upper East, and 160,000 persons living with HIV on antiretroviral treatment. This is according to one Dr. Ado.
The Anchor newspaper is reporting Supreme Court knocks out Speaker Bagbin again as Chief Justice fumes. This is a constitutional crisis. Amewu can't win Hohoi seat again. Alhaji Senaris fires and Mahama goes BSEC over 50 questions. East Legon demolition contempt case hearing reviews identity of masterminds, and Baumia unveils go ride for taxi drivers. Uber, Bolt, others to face stiff competition.
The Chronicle, Dampare is a visionary leader. He has brought tangible results since assuming office. This is coming in from Vice President Dr. Baumia, who is in a warm handshake with the police chief on the front page here of the Chronicle. Also, Baumia launches Go Ride. And NDC has failed to recognize contributions of Volta. Some other stories here. One says Supreme Court throws out Bagbin, and Great Cohorts unauthorized excavation under high tension lines in Ayawaso West.
Business analyst this morning, pensions funds grow by 33%, industry remains healthy. Baumia launches Go Right. Let's use our platforms to tackle climate crisis. GGA president tells journalists, and ADB MD is public sector CEO of the year. Congratulations to Alhaji Al Hassan.
Finally, the Daybreak newspaper says this morning, alarm blows at Maritime Authority. Deputy DG grabs 80,000 Ghana cedis in dubious ex gratia, according to the paper. Also on the front page, the speakers matter with the Supreme Court. Baumia launches again Go Ride, and MPP investment in health infrastructure in Volta region unprecedented. This is coming in from Richard Ahiagba.
Daily Guide, MPs vacant seats. Supreme Court throws out Speaker. VIP Lords IGP for police reforms. Esala launches e-skills for jobs. Let's debate. Baumia fires back at Mahama. And ABC News. Mahama added 343 billion Ghana cedis to gross public debt. IPG reviews. NPP targets 500,000 votes in Volta region. Supreme Court throws out Bagbin's application.
Let me take you online. A few more stories. If you go to Channel 1 online or channel1news.com, Donko's running mate should automatically replace Sami Darko speaking on election 2024. Now, there's a lot of political stories here, so stop demanding for debate. Address basic issues. This is Baba Sadiq to Baumia. Then stop reciting hymns and debate Baumia upon Nkrumah tells Mahama. So everybody's advising somebody. Now, a few more stories. Napo says Baumia will collaborate with chiefs, religious leaders to address moral decay. And then a lot of the Supreme Court stories and the various angles are here in terms of the angles. For example, vacant seats here in Supreme Court dismisses request to remove Justice Jehu from panel. And then the court adjourns judgment on the vacant seat case to November 11. All right. Now, let me go to citynewsroom.com. There's a new development there. Parliament to reconvene early November. Babin assures Council of State. So we had a fruitful meeting with the Council of State, and it looks like Parliament is reconvening soon. Insurance sector adjusts investment strategies amid DDEP impact. Reverend Lawrence Tete apologizes to UG over HIV remarks. And then a lawyer says Supreme Court's ruling on vacant seats are solid. He's called Bobby Banson. And then the rest of the issues there. We told, for example, death toll in Boku rises to 17. And then court orders Salif Wamako to file complaint over son's image in the media. I think you made this point yesterday. MajorOnline.com, the lead story for the morning. The whole concept of Agenda 111 is shrouded in lack of transparency, according to Professor Bayu, an NDC person. And then there are a couple stories here in reaction to the Supreme Court ruling. Judicial hypocrisy at its peak. Franklin Kujo slams Supreme Court's handling of SAL disenfranchisement. And then you raised a story about the currency yesterday. Well, the Minister of Finance says, don't panic. BOG has enough reserves to support the CD.
But the CD is not being supported.
Well, maybe they need to start doing a support.
Because in the market spaces, we are not seeing top.
Let me take you to a few other places. If you go to the GNA, they are reporting on the Baumia's Go Right, a game changer for local taxi drivers. And then NSMQ Infantry Film School pips St. Augustine's to win by a single point. That's also a story. Everywhere else, it's about the US election. Trump speaks in garbage collector uniform in a dig at Biden as Harris says, we will win.
They should say whatever they like.
A couple more stories. Spain flood death toll expected to rise as dozens missing. We are told at least 95 people have died. You should see vehicles like matches boxes.
Sad.
It's terrible. Meanwhile, North Korea fires a banned missile in its longest flight yet.
To where?
It's in the air. They are saying to the US, Mbablu, if you try, we'll finish you. So, Charlie, this is North Korea issue. Then a few more stories from Gaza and the rest of them. All right, so let's deal with the Supreme Court and the summaries of the key stories.
So quickly, I'll take you to the Chronicle this morning. Supreme Court throws out Bagbin and Benis Besse reporting on page 2 of the paper this morning. The Supreme Court has dismissed an application by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, to set aside his recent orders to stay the execution of his ruling, declaring 4 parliamentary seats vacant. Now, the dismissal announced on Wednesday, October 30, 2024, by a 5-member panel led by Chief Justice Gertrude Saki Tokonu deemed the motion without merit. Now, this ruling follows an initial Supreme Court order on October 18, 2024, which temporarily halted Speaker Bagbin's October 17 declaration that the seats of 4 MPs were vacant. Now, the court's injunction indicated that the MPs be allowed to continue serving until a final resolution with the Speaker contested, claiming the Supreme Court overstepped judicial boundaries into parliamentary matters.
Earlier in that case, the Supreme Court dismissed the request to remove Justice Jaiwu, was that the name, from the panel. So that's another angle to the story. So the Supreme Court dismissed a request from lawyers representing the Speaker of Parliament asking Justice Jaiwu to recuse himself from the panel adjudicating the case on the basis of political bias. Now, during proceedings on Wednesday, Tadiosori, lead counsel for Speaker, made the motion and it was dismissed. Now, the other significant development is that the Speaker has assured that Parliament is reconvening early
November. That story is on page 5 of the Anchor as well. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has given indications that the House will be recalled early November. According to him, this is in response to a request by some members of Parliament. Mr. Bagbin disclosed this during a meeting with a 5-member delegation of the Council of State on October 30. The delegation was led by Chairman Nana Otuo-Siribuo. He called on Mr. Bagbin to ascertain at first hand happenings in the legislature in recent times, resulting in the adjournment of the House indefinitely.
Meanwhile, in reaction to the case, Franklin Kujo, who's of course the founder of think tank, has criticized the Supreme Court as in the matter of SAL, because I'm sure you heard that in the ruling, the speaker the CJ spoke about disenfranchising people in the 4 constituencies. Now he's saying basically that for 4 years, the pool of Santro, Kofi, Akpafo, Likpe, and Lolobi have not had representation in Parliament, but nobody saw it as a sin, in a sense.
So let's clarify. Was there an application to the Supreme Court on the subject? I don't know.
I don't have the details, but I know that he and some people in SAL have been going to court a lot of times on this. I think in Hawkway.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
So it's basically he's saying that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that we should be careful not to compare apples with oranges. There may be a matter there. Of course, there's an issue.
No, I think what the point though is we are not. See, the thing is that representation must happen.
Yes.
The people of South don't have representation. That's a fact.
So that has got to be dealt with.
That's what he's saying.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, that the fact that the Supreme Court makes an order is in respect of 4 different constituencies should not, without more, mean that
I know, but I think his point is that the Supreme Court said that it will be injurious to the 4 constituencies not to have representation for the next 2 months.
That is so.
And his point is that you've had somebody for 4 years without representation.
That, you see, you can make that point, but when you try to connect the two, then there must be evidence that, they went to the Supreme Court to ask for A, B, C, D, and the Supreme Court, they make the ground, and then makes a decision.
Which is why I'm saying that you and I, we are not following that case fully. But I do know that there have been some court cases on the SAL matter.
Okay, yes.
There have been court cases on the SAL matter.
They should educate us on the same.
Okay,
meanwhile, we are told that some courts have been closed in the Upper East region.
Yeah.
And the GBA has come out to back the
decision. That was a couple of days ago over the insecurity, the Caleb.
Yes.
Guy.
Let's debate. Baumia fires back at Mahama. And as Kofi Odu is writing for Business Daily Guide this morning, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia has fired back at ex-President John Dramani Mahama, challenging him to a one-on-one debate after the National Democratic Congress NDC presidential candidate posed 5 questions to him. In a strongly worded statement, Dr. Baumia criticized Mr. Mahama for what he described as an attempt to avoid direct intellectual discourse and scrutiny of their respective records and policies. Bernard.
There's a lot of stories on this.
Shall we stay in politics?
Yes, this debate issue. And I think that the main one you read is there. The other ones from the NDC side and MPP side, both asking for whether they should debate or not. Some people say answer the questions and stop asking for debate. Some are saying come for debate and all of that.
Let me take you to
move on.
Okay, let me take you to a story still in politics. Professor Opoku Ajiman woos Ashanti voters. The story is by Richard Usuachao in the Chronicle. Says the running mate of the presidential candidate for the National Democratic Congress, Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyemang, has sold the policies of the party to voters in the Ashanti region. Now, Professor Opoku-Agyemang, who is currently touring the Ashanti region, first met the professional bodies of ASPROF, made up of UTAG, NAGRAT, GUTA, the Teachers Forum, Market Women Association, and Senior Staff Association of the Ghana Universities at the Nshaisu in the Nshaisu community in the Ashanti region. Now, a post of the NDC vice presidential candidate made on her X page said the organizations aired their concerns regarding the culture of intimidation, fear, discrimination, and lack of respect for established norms in the practice of their profession. Now, if you go to page 2 of the same newspaper, the NDC has failed to recognize contributions of Volta region, according to Richard Ahiagba. The story says the New Patriotic Party's Director of Communications, Mr. Richard Ahiagba, has criticized the National Democratic Congress for what he described as a neglect of the traditional stronghold, the Volta region. Now, speaking at a press conference on Wednesday in the Volta region. Mr. Hinyagba expressed surprise that the NDC had not chosen a running mate from a region that has been one of its most consistent support bases in the past elections. Why? Richard Hinyagba, is that your business?
It's all politics, I guess. Now, let me give you a quick economic story.
Yes.
Attributed to the Minister of Finance. Says, don't panic, BOG has adequate reserves to support the city. Finance Minister assures, this is my journal line, it says, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has assured businesses and market stakeholders, stressing that the BOG holds sufficient dollar reserves to meet market demand. Here's his quote: we should look at the current reserve position of the Bank of Ghana, and that should give everyone some comfort about its ability to meet market demand. Now, he said this during a press briefing in Washington held alongside the annual IMF and World Bank meetings. I can tell you that the Bank of Ghana has accumulated significant reserves to meet the demand. Now, the Finance Minister revealed that Ghana anticipates a December inflow of $360 million from the IMF pending approval of the third program review. So hopefully the city will not go beyond 17 to the dollar.
Still on the economy, Bernard, we admonish government not to overspend, especially in election year. ISE is speaking. The Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, has issued a cautionary call for fiscal restraint as the country heads into the 2024 election year, stressing the importance of maintaining recent economic gains. ISE urged, we admonish government not to overspend, especially with 2024 being an election year. In conclusion, 2024 holds greater growth prospects, and key macroeconomic indicators such as inflation, interest rate and exchange rate depreciation remain relatively improved compared to 2022. So they are saying break away from the election business cycle, do not spend.
Let me bring you some two stories of interest. Sally Fuamako's story and then the Owabi tragedy that took 5 lives. So in the Sally Fuamako matter, the court is directing him to file a complaint over the use of his son's image. So Bishop Sally Fuamako, head pastor of Alive Chapel International, and the mother of his son have been instructed to file a complaint to the police regarding images of their son circulating in the media following a fatal accident at East Legon. The couple, along with a third individual, are on trial for allegedly allowing their 16-year-old son, an unlicensed driver, to operate a vehicle that resulted in a tragic death of 2 12-year-old teenagers, or 12-year-olds. They can't be teenagers. 12 is not teen yet. During their second court appearance since the arrest, the couple expressed concern about images of their son being posted on social media. Their lawyers invoked the Judicial Justice Act, which prohibits the publication of minors' faces in an attempt to have these images removed. While the prosecution agreed with the need for such an order, they questioned the logistics of enforcement and to whom the order would apply. As a result, the court directed the parents of the juvenile suspect to formally lodge a complaint to the Ghana Police Service regarding the unauthorized sharing of the son's image. But the substantive matter itself, I believe, is being heard. Now, still on tragedies, grieving father criticizes fire service late arrival in the Owabe River drowning incident. This is from Kumasi Emmanuel Azuma, the father of 2 siblings who drowned alongside their mother. Can you imagine? In the Owabe River, have expressed frustration over what they describe as delayed emergency response from the Ghana Fire Service. He believes that the late arrival of the rescue officials worsened the tragedy, compounding his family's suffering during the incident. Now, this tragic incident occurred when the vehicle carrying his wife, their 2 children, and 2 other passengers veered off the Daban Ekropong Road and plunged into the Owabe River. All 5 occupants died, leaving their loved ones, including Yazam and the community, in deep mourning. Now, during a visit by City News to the residents, or to the man's residence in Daba, sympathizers had gathered to console him. And the man recounted the ordeal, described how untrained local drivers had attempted to rescue the passengers while waiting for the Ghana Fire Service, which he said arrived too late to assist effectively. This is so sad. To lose 2 children and a spouse on the same day.
So bad.
He needs a lot of counseling and support. Yeah.
There's another story here. There's a man who actually fell. Man falls to death from Lower Volta Bridge at Sugakopa. So a man believed to be in his early 60s tragically lost his life after falling from the Lower Volta Bridge on the ECOWAS Highway at Sokwe in the South Tong District on Monday. The body of the man, yet to be identified, has been deposited at the Sugakopa District Hospital mortuary after a report was made by residents at the Sugakopa District Police Command. Now, we've seen people take pictures of the dead body everybody and share on social.
We have to do better, even with the Owabi story. Sometimes, we are very eager to show what has happened without thinking about the consequence of the showing. So, media guys, please hold your horses, right? You can inform people without distressing them.
So,
The
social
fact that,
media people.
road accidents, death, that's the whole point. People don't understand that we have a responsibility to balance people's right to know with people's right to privacy. And sometimes common sense. You can't just publish anything just because you have access to the photo. Let's go back to
Let's stay in the Volta region. Page 14 of the Ghanaian Times has a story that I support strongly. Alakle Dufia urges government to dredge Keta Lagoon. Now, from Lawrence Vomafa in Akpalu in the Alakle area, he says that the Dufia of Alakle in the Anglo district of the Volta region, Togbi Ame Zegu II, has appealed to the government to, as a matter of urgency, dredge the Keta Lagoon in order to revive economic activities of the people. According to him, the entire Keta basin, which formed the lagoon, had become so silted and salty that fish species that were previously in the lagoon had become extinct, thus rendering the people permanently redundant. There's a quote here that says, "The livelihood of my people, who are mostly fisher folk, and others in adjoining communities who depend on the lagoon for survival, are in danger as it can no longer hold water for fishing. Hence, the urgent call for help to restore their business in order to stop the rural-urban migration faced in other parts of the..."
Now, there are some very interesting stories coming from the US. So there's a BBC story that said African asylum seekers are afraid ahead of US election. And this is a BBC story. So for the growing number of African asylum seekers and economic migrants in the US, the upcoming presidential election could reshape their entire future. And they focus the story on a 38-year-old Yves Kaduli, an asylum seeker from DRC who lives in the US, who basically is worried that the way immigration has become a major issue in the election, and he said he had to pass through Rwanda, flew to Cuba, then went to Ecuador, Nicaragua, and then entered the US through the Mexico border in 2019. People live in temporary shelters in Mexico as they wait to get in the US. And he said that he succeeded in crossing to the US and was detained for 15 months before being released. He now lives in Virginia, working as a medical technician, awaiting a decision on his asylum case. And he says he's one of thousands of African migrants who, against all odds, complete this long journey. But with immigration being a major issue in the US election, they feel that, Charlie, if the thing goes to some side, they will come back home. It's a serious issue. And, even in the UK as well, what happens is that politicians are the same everywhere. They will use issues depending on the mood of the country to campaign. And then you can be a victim, even though you haven't done anything. So you are sitting in your house, you can say, "You cry, we have to move you." Because there's growing anger against immigrants. And they say
not immigrants.
They say we are eating cats.
Illegal.
They say we are eating cats and dogs. I'm not trying to say it.
That one. We have to ask him questions about this.
Al Jazeera is reporting that US... No, they said they are eating cats and dogs. So the dogs are free. US...
Is he talking about some of my people? Is that what...
Maybe the people are from your side. US election. Polls are tight as Trump and Harris rally in Wisconsin.
Trump is winning, not...
Trump went campaigning in the uniform of,
waste
collectors and
President Biden's comment about Trump supporters being garbage is backfiring, and Trump is basically... It's just a week, right? Today is the last day of October, so in a few days they'll be voting.
5th of November.
Yeah.
So please, if you're an American, please go out and vote.
Vote. This is your business.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. Now, what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protection sector. And what they boss my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish Magobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand Magobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
The go.
Yo, Anna. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel. Say Excellium. Choose Excellium. Choose quality.
My buddy, when you wake up in the morning and you know the money calling, oh, you go work, but you know it's out on your side. If I believe with us, if I hold my hand and believe, cause you know it's out on your side. And when you dream, no say I did for you. And when you hustle every day, when you wanna go, anything you do, I did for you. If I believe I did your side, fidelity. If I believe with us, fidelity. If I know I did your side, fidelity.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
City Business News with Nashi Kasiza. Good morning, Na.
Good morning, Bernard. Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of the Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle and Access Bank. My name is Nashi Kasiza. Coming up, insurance companies to scale back investment in Government of Ghana securities and Bank of Ghana bonds. Also coming up, Ghana Private Road Transport Union GPRTU assures it has no intentions of increasing transport fares in the coming days. And later, Public Interest and Accountability Committee PIAC calls for a balance between Ghana's pursuit of energy transition and maintaining crude oil production. We settle for the details of our stories now. Insurance companies in Ghana have scaled back the investment in the Government of Ghana securities and Bank of Ghana BOG bonds, primarily in response to the income challenges posed by the Domestic Debt Exchange Program DDEP. There's more in the following report by Emmanuel Opong.
The 2023 Financial Stability Review indicates that non-life insurance segment reduced its holdings in Government of Ghana and Bank of Ghana securities by 13%, lowering the share of these assets in its overall portfolio from 38% in 2022 to 27% in 2023. In this segment, fixed deposits now represent 23% of investment, while listed securities and investment properties accounted for 27% and 19% respectively. Similarly, the life insurance sector trimmed its investment in Government of Ghana and Bank of Ghana securities by 9%, bringing these holdings down from 49% to 40% in 2023. This shift reflects a strategic recalibration within the industry, likely spurred by the broader financial impact of the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. Concurrently, life sector investment in property increased by 1%, reaching 23%, and fixed deposit rose by 8 percentage points, now comprising 21% of its portfolio. These changes underscore a move towards diversification as insurers seek to balance risk while enhancing returns amid evolving economic conditions.
That report was filed by my colleague Emmanuel Opong. Moving on, CalBank PLC has reported a profit after tax of 223.9 million Ghana cedis, reflecting a 26.1% increase compared to the same period last year. This also represents a 41.8% rise over the first half of 2024. Here's more from the bank's unaudited financial result for the period ending September 30, 2024.
Bank recorded a 24.7% drop in net interest income. This was driven by a strategic slowdown in loan growth due to high interest rates. The reduction in net interest income was offset by substantial recoveries of impaired loans totaling 712.5 million Ghana cedis. Operating expenses rose 9.3% year-on-year, largely due to inflationary pressures on goods and services. However, staff costs were kept under control, rising only 9.7%, reflecting management's disciplined cost containment efforts. Bank's deposit growth has been remarkable, with total deposits up by 26.5%, rising from 7.5 billion Ghana cedis at the end of 2023 to 10.1 billion Ghana cedis by 2024 Q3. This growth is largely attributed to a shift in deposits from corporate accounts to individual and SME clients, who now represent over 80% of total deposits. In a press statement, Bank CEO Kalasem attributed the bank's performance to a positive trend in core earning drivers, highlighting a 97.4% increase in fees and commissions income. He noted that Bank's digital strategy played a crucial role with enhanced digital channels and expanded agent banking network, significantly contributing to deposit growth.
That report was filed by Netili Neti Ajao. We now move on to some other stories. The Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, is calling for measures to strike a balance between Ghana's pursuit of energy transition and maintaining its crude oil production despite recent declines in output. PIAC highlighted that while global shifts towards renewable energy sources are crucial for sustainable development, Ghana's economy still relies heavily on oil revenues. The committee warned that a hasty transition could undermine the nation's financial stability and development goals. Technical manager at PIAC, Mark Ejiman, has been speaking on Time with PIAC.
Energy transition from fossil fuel, that's hydrocarbons, to green energy or renewables has come to stay. Nobody can take it away. Now, it is how you transition, you embrace the transition as a country, that is what will define how you will exploit your resources. Yes, as a country, we have about 1.4 billion reserves of oil equivalents untapped. Now, the question is that do we leave it down there, or do we find a sustainable way of exploiting the hydrocarbon we have while blending it with the transition to green energy? That is what we have to do. We can have a national strategy on how we will exploit this. We can look within as a country, meaning that we have to use more of the hydrocarbon that we will produce.
Mark Ajiman is technical manager at the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC. Now, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, has firmly stated that no transport operator will increase transportation fares in the coming days. According to Abasi Moro, the Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRTU, the public should disregard any report suggesting an imminent fare increase. However, the Transport Operators Association recently announced plans to increase transport fares by 15% starting November 2, 2024. This decision is based on rising operational costs, including increases in fuel prices, maintenance expenses, and other essential costs. In an interview with Citi Business News, Amaro Abbas Imoru reiterated his request for the public to disregard the proposed fare hike.
We have to to the Transport Ministry, the ministry who also stands in for the general public, that is the passengers. Then finally we come up with the final decision. This is what we do. So right now we urge everybody that can have to disregard it. We are working on the lay down procedure. So when we get there, we will come up and announce it and inform the general public and the press as well. So for now, this should just be disregarded.
Abasi Moro is the Industrial Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU. Now, youth in Ghana, especially women, are being encouraged to consider careers in agriculture as a viable path to sustainable employment and economic growth. This call comes from the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Agri Impact Limited as they roll out the Harnessing Agricultural Productivity and Prosperity for Youth program. More details in this report from Daniel Sakiti.
The Harnessing Agricultural Productivity and Prosperity Youth Program aims to create dignified jobs for 326,000 young people aged between 15 to 35 over a 4-year period within the agriculture sector, focusing on poultry, rice, tomato, and soya bean value chains. Since its launch in December 2023, over 90,000 youth, including women and persons with disabilities, have joined the initiative in its first year of implementation. MasterCard Foundation Ghana Country Director Rika Wingamba at the 2024 Happy Program exhibition held at the Millennium Development Authority Ghana Cares Economic Enclave in Kasunya, located in the Shai Osudoku district, commended the progress made under the program and encouraged the youth to consider agriculture as a viable career path.
What we've seen today is, really young people, many of them who also sometimes were not even confident that they could, do anything because maybe they didn't go to school or even when they did for a long time, they were out of work. But today, seeing how much they've been able to do, some of them almost owning, some of the land, at least working on the land and being able to sell and making good, amount of money from what we've heard from them. I think it's really calling to a lot of young people. Agriculture is very beneficial. One can make money, and agriculture is also, it's not just the planting and the production, but there's a whole value chain. So really encouraging people to look at it from a value chain perspective.
Chief Executive Officer of Agri Impact Limited, Daniel Akwe, emphasized the importance of the Happy Program for import substitution.
Apart from creating jobs using these 4 value chains, we also intend to produce 189,000 metric tons of food. By so doing, we'll be able to reduce our food import by 10% per annum.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of the Agri Impact Limited, Daniel Akwe, and in that report filed by Citi Business News' Daniel Sakiti. We now head to the Forex market, where the dollar is being sold to you at 16 cedis 70 pesos. The British pound is being sold at 21 cedis 70 pesos and the euro at 17 cedis 40 pesos. And that's all for the breakfast edition of the Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle and Access Bank. My name is Nashika Caesar. Many thanks for your company. Do have a great business day.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
We understand the excitement and preparations that comes when your child gains admission into senior high school. But we at the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB PLC, also understand the financial burden this comes with. The chop box, trunk, school mattress, you name it. That's why we have partnered with Prospectus Ghana Limited to offer financial support for parents by introducing the ADB Quick Purchase. With a smart loan of up to 20,000 Ghana cedis, you can pick up all the items on your child's prospectus for school. ADB PLC offers you a repayment plan of 12 months to relieve you of all that heavy financial burden. Every ADB customer who receives their salaries through the bank, military and police personnel, and all other workers on the Controller and Accountant General's payroll qualify for this facility. Walk into any ADB branch nationwide or any Prospectus Ghana Limited office near you to apply for the ADB Quick Purchase. Terms and conditions apply. ADB, the People's Bank. ADB, truly a Greek and more.
Looking for a burst of flavor in every sip? Discover the refreshing taste of Piva beverages. Enjoy the classic Piva Cola flavor, perfect fit anytime. How about a fruity adventure? Try our delightful Piva orange fruit drink packed with recognized citrus flavor. Craving something exotic? Our Piva cocktail fruit drink brings the tropics to you. For a sweet and juicy treat, grab our grapefruit drink and don't miss out on the refreshing Piva Tangerine fruit drink, bursting with tangerine flavor. Piva Cola, Piva Orange, Piva Cocktail, Piva Grape, Piva Tangy. Grab yours today. Available now at your local store. Call us on 055 00 322 31. Beaver, a taste you'd love. This advert is FDA approved.
P for Piva.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Avo de kajevi makochiu ikebe fifi amoto hana ti to gbagbere wa avo la noanyi ada wa da noanti keki avo anoanya keki avo ada picture that the state of move ka omale move ka yo omale.
Oh my, it's Lexus on a bit.
7:14 kickoff was brought to you by Goyle. Good energy brings you, actually no, business news brought to you by Goyle. Good energy brings you the Super XP, the ideal choice for your vehicle. The special additives that give longevity to your engine, makes your engine perform to the max using minimal fuel. Goyle Super XP, good energy. Nathan Kwao is here with the Thursday edition of Kickoff. It's brought to us by Polytank. It's been over 30 years of great service, trusted by generations. Go for guaranteed quality, choose Polytank. By the way, Polytank does not request for Momo payments online. We're also sponsored by Zonda Ghana, your one-stop shop for quality trucks, Shantui bulldozers, excavators, graders, payloaders, and more. We have top-notch after-sales support. Locate us off the Tema Flower Road, close to the Free Zones Enclave. Reach Zonda on 0501 772 222. Zonda, built in Ghana, building Ghana.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Kickoff, the latest from the world of sport. My name is Nathan Kwao. Let's get into the headlines. Asante Kotoko dropped the ball for the very first time this season as they lose to Legon Cities in the Ghana Premier League. Black Satellites fall short in the final of the WAFU B Under-20 Championship to Nigeria, and Man United rediscover their mojo as they beat Leicester in the League Cup second round. And we begin with the WAFU B Championship, the Under-20 Championships that ended yesterday in Lomé, Togo. Nigeria, they ended up winning the competition after beating the Black Satellites by 2-1. Barobo Arie, he scored twice in the first half to put Nigeria in a good place. Later, Jerry Efrie pulled one back, but it was not enough to alter the result as the Nigerians won the competition by beating Ghana 2-1 in the final. But despite the result, the two teams have made it to the Under-20 AFCON, which will be played next year, and that tournament will serve as a qualifier for the Under-20 World Cup. Let's move on to other things. Former Sports Minister Elvis Ifeanyi has stated that he does not support the use of hybrid pitches for football in Ghana. And his comments come after recent upgrades to the Baba Yara and Accra Sports Stadia for AFCON qualifiers. And he argued that Ghana was not ready for hybrid pitches, pointing to maintenance issues as the main reason why he did not believe in the use of hybrid pitches in Ghana.
Well, I haven't seen any hybrid pitch before. I don't know how it functions. I don't know the pros and cons. And I don't know what went into that decision. Has it been scientifically tested and proven? What is the durability of hybrid pitches? How does it affect player performance? How about maintenance issues? So I'm saying that decisions must not just be taken based on whims or somebody's ideas. We're in a modern era. You know, you need to do scientific analysis, do technical analysis. The hybrid, what are the pros and cons? What are the advantages and disadvantages? Maintenance, looking at our environment, looking at our weather, looking at our climate, and then how long would it take? And what is even the initial cost compared to having the natural or artificial? These are all issues that I believe you, media, should question them. I'm not a pitch expert.
So that's former Sports Minister Elvis Free Accra speaking. Talk about pitches and stadia. The Accra Sports Stadium will be hosting the next round of AFCON qualifiers for the Black Stars. Ghana takes on Niger on the 18th of November 2024, and this was after the ground got approval from CAF. Remember, I hosted Ghana v Sudan a few weeks ago, and so the Black Stars will be going back there to take on Niger. And remember, the Black Stars mathematically still believe they have a chance of making the AFCON in Morocco next year. Despite not winning a game so far, Ghana has 2 points and they trail Angola, who are on 12, and then they trail Sudan as well. To some other news, David Odro and Abdulaziz Issa will be making their long-awaited debuts for Barcelona after they got the clearance to play. The two players joined from the Ghana Premier League. David Odro, he joined from Accra Lions. Abdulaziz Issa joined from Dreams, both of them on loan, and they are yet to play, and they've been impressing during training. Even they've trained with the first team, but now it looks like they'll be getting their opportunities to get proper minutes in terms of featuring for FC Barcelona. Asante Kotoko on the menu now. They lost yesterday for the first time in the league season. They lost 2-1 to Legon Cities in an outstanding game that should have been played in week 6. And it wasn't a good night at all for Prosper Nate Ogum's men as they fell in Accra to Legon Cities. Let's hear from Prosper Nate Ogum, who shared his thoughts on the 2-1 reverse Kotoko suffered last night.
An exciting game. A game of two halves.
First defeat of the season. What will you say about it?
Yeah, not the best of ways, especially if you look at the way we played in the second half. It shouldn't have happened, but then it has, and we just have to put ourselves together and then move on.
Your fans are not happy you lost against the least team on the league log. What are you telling them?
It happens all over the world. He who is down fears no fall.
So that was Prosper Nate Ogum. They're quite philosophical on that result. Let's hear from former Asante Kotoko midfielder Emmanuel Ajimambedu. He was at the game and he had a few thoughts to share after watching his Reds lose 2-1 to Legon Cities.
Well, I have watched a lot of games and Kotoko has been playing well. Unfortunately for them today, they lost the game. They played 8 games. 1 lose. I don't think it's too bad, though they have a lot of room for improvement. And Kotoko was having some injuries. Some of them are recovering back, so they will come good. You can't write Legon Cities out. I have watched their games. I have seen the way they have been playing. Just that they are unfortunate that they can't score. And today they get the laugh. And you know the coach, he is coaching them. Papa Sipagian is one of the coaches. Whenever he meets he gave them a lot of headache and problems. So I'm not too surprised that they won the game today. The game was very exciting as well. So congratulations to the Cities. They did a great job today.
So that was Emmanuel Ajimambedu, former Asante Kotoko player, speaking there. From one red to the other red, Manchester United, they responded to Eric Ten Hag's sacking by beating Leicester City 5-2 to reach the Carabao Cup quarterfinals. It was the first game for interim manager Ruud van Nistelrooy. There were 2 goals each for Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, while Alejandro Garnacho got onto the score sheet for the Red Devils. Let's hear from interim Man United boss Ruud van Nistelrooy, who spoke after the game.
Got exactly that.
Yeah, it was the case. I have to say that we scored some great goals. The first one was an absolute beauty from Casemiro. I have to also say that we had some luck as well. 2 posts and it comes to Casemiro's feet. Bruno with the free kick and it's deflected and it's in, but it's his first one of. After a long time, I'm so happy for him that he's on the score sheet twice with a good finish in the second half, and Garnacho of course with a very good finish with a Diogo cross. So the 5 goals, but as I said before, I have to say the chances against West Ham and Fenerbahce and QPR, we created so much more and bigger chances and we couldn't finish, and all of a sudden we had some luck on our sides. And that made it a great day today.
Ruud van Nistelrooy, interim Man United boss, speaking. The another results: Chelsea, they fell to Newcastle 2-0. Alexander Isak and an own goal from Axel Disasi giving the Magpies a ticket to the last 8. They got revenge after losing to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge last weekend. Cody Gakpo, he scored twice as Liverpool edged Brighton by 3-2 to go to the last 8. And there were wins for Tottenham. They beat Manchester City by 2-1. Good result for them. And Arsenal, they also won their encounter at Preston. They won by 3-0. And Villa were dumped out by Crystal Palace by 2-1. So after all of that, the quarter-final draw was done. Tottenham Hotspur will face Man United. Southampton hosts Liverpool. Newcastle face Brentford, and Arsenal will take on Crystal Palace. All these games will be played on the 14th or so of December to determine who gets to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup competition. Some basketball news before we head out, and it was a continuation of game night 3 or game night 4 of the season. There were wins for the Chicago Bulls, the Brooklyn Nets, the OKC Thunder. They beat the San Antonio Spurs 105-93. Portland, they edged Los Angeles Clippers 106-105. The last 2 points going in favor of Portland, and the Golden State Warriors made it 2 straight wins over the Pelicans as they won 104-89. All of that without Steph Curry, who's out after an ankle injury. And that's how we end this morning's edition of Kickoff on the City Breakfast Show. My name is Nathan Kwame. Many thanks for listening. Kickoff was proudly brought to us by Polytank and Zonda Ghana. There's more sports on citysportsonline.com and channel1news.com. And catch us later for more news in the subsequent bulletins. And at 10 p.m. on Channel 1 TV, tune in to watch the Sports Roundup, which is a wrap of all the biggest stories from sports on Channel 1 TV. Do have a fantastic day. Stay safe. Take care and bye-bye.
Polytank Papa Nunye, Polytank Papa Nunye, Papa Naka Messi, Papa Nunye.
month of October. May this day mark the beginning of a fantastic year filled with God's blessings, peace, and prosperity. And every lesson of the Citi Breakfast Show, Jeremiah 29:11 is the scripture. So there's a side question for the morning. How keenly will you be following the US election? Do you see any parallels between the US election and the Ghanaian election? It's on the 5th of November, ours on the 7th of December. Some people have been studying the situation closely and they say it seems as if Ghana and US have a certain shared trend of election outcomes and election challenges. Maybe I'll spend a few minutes talking about that later on. Yesterday was a very busy day in the Supreme Court. We'll give you some quick overview of that. But a glorious happy 40th to Richard Quist of the University of Ghana Hospital. May God grant you endless blessings and may the coming years be better thereof. Happy birthday with love. Happy birthday to Rosie Ajiadu of, just Rosie Ajiadu. This is from your Auntie Lily Medina. Okay. Rosie Ajiadu. Coming from Auntie Lily in Medina.
And also, on Saturday, the greatest high school, secondary school, college in the history of this country will culminate at 75 years, 75 years of outstanding leadership and service to society. So to all amount for, I say we culminate our birthday this year, 75 years.
Yeah.
That's what, a diamond jubilee?
You see, you just spoiled a very good wish with an unnecessary...
Is it not I will not doing birthday wishes.
An unnecessary introduction.
No, I will not doing birthday wishes.
Happy 75th to Prempeh College. You didn't need to add that anything. You didn't need to add any adjective. You just wish them.
No, but you cannot just wish Prempeh College an ordinary. People have look at the sentences people have written over there, and I'm talking about Prempeh College. You want me to say Happy Birthday Prempeh College?
I think he's
just
entitled
but
to
he's
qualify.
entitled to make factual statements.
He's expressing his opinion.
No, I am not expressing opinion here.
Lawyer.
So hold on.
You are now.
No, my counsel. No, this one. No. When it comes to this one.
Okay.
So is he doubting that there have been 75 years of outstanding leadership and service to this society?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Then what else?
There's something you said at the beginning, which you yourself know is not true.
About being the greatest,
which he claims is your opinion.
Well, my lawyer,
So now we can make unsubstantiated claims on the.
But
anyway, happy 75th to Prempeh College.
All amount for my brother Kwesi Akolache, Toyin Senaya,
John Kufuor,
the former President Kufuor, Ambassador Boateng, Chief Award winner Napo.
What do you mean?
No.
No, there are many.
No, Mutumi is not a part.
Kwabena Dufo,
yes.
Kwesi Ahoy,
the Ahoys,
the Ahoy brothers, yes.
Bernard.
We are many.
For
Suman, which
they are all.
You want from one to me to Entribo. He is not an amount for.
He's an amount for.
He's not. Which year did he complete?
96. In fact,
which house?
I'll tell you. In the 96.
Which house?
The 96 NSMQ, me, I was in Form 1.
Yes.
They did it at Teachers Hall.
Yes.
Prempeh beat us by 4 points.
Yes.
They had a Ghanaian, Australian boy. The bus that they brought to that friend saying, he hired that bus.
Yeah, the fact that he hired
He's
the
a 96 boy.
The fact that he hired the bus
bro,
does not mean he completed the school.
Whether he completed, he's a man for.
And let me say a belated happy birthday to a sweet and emerging spirit within the energy space of our country. Ajua Eugenia Kofi, blessing. You celebrated your birthday yesterday. You're doing a fantastic job within the energy space, and may the Lord God continue to bless you and lift you up to impossible destinations globally.
All right.
And I'd like to say happy birthday to Dorothy Opare. She's a very, very good friend of my wife. So happy birthday to Dorothy. And it's a very interesting time for her because she's getting married tomorrow. So congrats to
the day after the birthday.
Yeah. So Dorothy, happy birthday to you from myself, from Gina, from
wonderful,
your girls,
wonderful,
from everybody,
wonderful.
and your husband to be as well.
Oh, wonderful. So 1st November. So we're going to court, but I have a question I've left on the table, which I want those who are listening to tell me how closely they'll be watching the U.S. election and whether they think there are any parallels, because there are a lot of parallels. But before that, I also think it's in order to congratulate Infantry School. Now, if they had come to say what you said, I wouldn't be arguing. Then you get up and come. And you know the worst, but he's wearing red too.
I'm not wearing red.
You are wearing something red.
I'm not wearing
the
red.
first
Sky's not the red. I'm wearing pink.
You know,
Why are you calling
Infantry School. If Infantry School had come out and said, "Oh, we are the greatest," we can give it to them. Then you can't stand here and
they are the oldest.
There was even a time in our life they claimed that they were the only school in Ghana. Ooh. They were the school when they were there. You were not even a thought.
Yeah,
you were not even a thought in your mother's room.
That is a fact, as my lawyer would tell me, that we cannot dispute.
Yes.
That they are the oldest. That they were the first. There are plenty of things that they
Let's give them their due. They are the winners of the NSMT.
Oh yes,
they've done very well.
Brilliant performance yesterday.
Especially coming against
their rivals,
arch rivals,
Ogasco,
and winning by a point. I mean, all the excitement in this year's quiz was in their side.
And it was held in their region.
They beat Prempeh by a golden goal.
Yes, and won by
a golden goal. And it's amazing. They did it. Somebody said the luck was on their side, and I think I believe it, because sometimes you need to. It was just luck in a way, but they did well. Because, for example,
what is the luck here? They won the TC.
No, you don't
even give them their due.
No.
This per seconds.
You are not understanding me. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. You see, there are certain matches that sometimes you need a little more. There's some things that maybe how should I say? Beyond,
they had a little more than anybody
else. That's what I'm saying.
It's not luck.
Please, you are not coming to legislate luck here today. What I'm saying is that sometimes when you play in football, things can go your way or things may not go your way. It's your
everything
day.
Went their way.
It's their day.
Okay.
Yeah, so they deserve it.
Oh, of course.
And it's their day. You know, it's very well.
It's been 10 years.
Very, very well
it's
done.
It's been 10 years. It's been
very,
long enough.
very well done.
It's been 10 years of being up the road.
Very, very well done.
Welcome back to the table.
You're in a very feisty mood today.
No, I mean, it's been 10 years. That's fact.
Factos.
So we'll take you to the Supreme Court to hopefully break down what happened there. And the truth is that it's not even over. And so we'll do a quick breakdown with Sky for you this morning. Yeah, and I'm still on the US election theme, even though you don't want to accept that there's a relation between what happens in the US and what happens in Ghana. I think there is. There's a very strong correlation between US election outcomes and Ghanaian election outcomes. There's a strong similarity in the moods of the two countries. There's a strong situation even with the kind of duopoly we have. There's a lot of interesting things going on, and they have less than a week to vote now, and that election is really, really nail-biting finish. But here's a very important message for you. Everybody's talking about affinity. Now, let's talk about the Affinity app. Very easy to use. Loans that are accessible and affordable. No monthly fees, no transaction fees, zero fees. And it's for people like you, the ones with big plans, small businesses, side projects, or just the drive to make things happen. Affinity is all about giving you the right tools to keep your banking simple and help you grow. So whether you're starting something new, managing your finances, or just getting through the day-to-day, they are here to make things easy for you. Dial *229# to get the app or check out affinityghana.com. With Affinity, you're not just banking, you're in. And imagine the unexpected happens to you and your family, or you leaving behind your loved ones, spouse, or family members that you cherish most. Now, death is inevitable, but when it occurs with your loved one, be protected. So SNIT comes in to protect them if you are a contributor to the scheme. Now, the SNIT scheme has an inbuilt life policy that pays your loved ones a lump sum when you are no more. Survivors of SNIT members' benefits qualify for survivors benefit. Make that decision today to enroll on SNIT and protect your survivors. Call 0302-611-622 or follow us on socials at SNIT Ghana. And if you're having throat challenges, insist on Lozati, 100% natural lozenge, refreshing your throat, soothing you with their many flavors: honey and lemon, ginger, peppermint, orange, cola. They even have 2 sugar-free formulations like propolis and strawberry. Now, Lozati is for quick relief when you need it. Call 0302-324-595. This advert is FDA approved. All right, so
I beg this one day. I beg, please let me wish. This is from let me send birthday wishes to Mrs. Seiram Nina Akuno, the CEO of Shark's Eye. This is from the J Squad. Her husband Julian, the children Jason, Jeremy, and Jaina. The God who watches over you will not let your foot slip. Who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep.
Yes, please.
And says, this evening, no lights out.
No, I like the J names.
Yes. So Julian, Jason, Jeremy, and Jaina. And let me admit, Julian, if not for him being an immigration officer, outstanding footballer.
We have a lot of those stories, eh?
Outstanding.
A lot of those stories.
Not your regular, like, Onimborn Bob.
I know.
You should recruit him. Oh, no, he's a senior officer now.
He was born at the wrong time. Yeah. The time he was born, people didn't know there was money in football.
Back in the day when Wesley Grammar was a formidable football force. These were the boys.
Happy birthday to Father Emmanuel Kujo of the St. James Catholic Church in Osu. Enjoy your day to the max, coming in from Clement. All right, so please wish our mother. Oh, what did you? Please wish our mother Angelina Oboshi Toto a glorious birthday from my husband and children. Good morning, Bernard. I'm very interested in the U.S. election because of Kamala, who's a Rotarian. So my idea inside. What will happen in the US must not happen in Ghana. Well, there's a contrary view here. Yes, from Kingsley says, Bernard, I've been following the US elections very closely. I'm a MAGA fan. I don't approve of some of Trump's personality issues, but he's a better candidate for me for 2 reasons.
That's correct.
Brokering global peace.
Correct. 4 years, there was peace.
Let me just finish. I don't want to stimulate a new debate here. This is Kingsley's view, so let me just finish. He says he's a MAGA fan. He doesn't approve of some of his personal tactics.
Yes, that's true.
But he brokers global peace, and then he will slow down on LGBT indoctrination and pressure as part of US policy towards other countries. So Kingsley likes MAGA, and then the lady likes...
The first one was a bit weird for me, but it's okay.
Anyway, well, some people actually have this view that when he was president, there were fewer conflicts. I'm not really sure.
That's true.
Is that true?
That's true. I mean, the records.
Maybe we can check it. I'm not sure.
The records show that. I mean, the records show that.
Oh my God!
Oh, that's the truth.
So is he winning?
Oh yeah, I think he deserves.
But if he loses, will he accept it?
Why not? I mean, if the people of the US think otherwise,
but you know, January. You know something funny, Sky? Do you know that January into January 7, when we were having our what do you even call it? Our parliamentary you know, when we're having our parliamentary things, that was the day, the same night that angry supporters entered the capital to attack it.
A truly unfortunate,
incident. And
that
I was talking to Sandra about this. The similarities in the, apart from 2020, where MPP won and a Democrat won, since 92 it's been NDC, Democrat, MPP, Republican. All right. Then you've had now a former president coming back from Ghana, a former president coming back from the US, contesting a vice president. All right. Then you have the Speaker of the House being from the opposition. Same for Ghana, same for the US. All right. Then you have, of course, there are a few other issues around the colors of the parties.
The economy.
So MPP being the umbrella with the red, white, and blue, the Republican being the umbrella as well, center right, MPP, center left, NDC, Democrat, center left, Republican right, It's very interesting. So for those who believe in the similar, and again, our system, even though there's a pure parliamentary system UK and a presidential system Ghana, hybrid system, our system mirrors more the US. If you take US and UK as two extremes, we are not a parliamentary. Our constituency is more tilted towards the presidential side. Of course, they are federal, we are not. We are a smaller country. But I think that for those who watch the US election to see where it goes, it's a very interesting. I don't think there's any other country in the world that aligns with US in that coincidence fashion. I mean, a near impregnable duopoly. You get it? So in many countries, a third party may stand a chance. In Africa, you don't even have two parties that strong. If you go to South Africa, look at what happened. They are like a mix of parties. Maybe Kenya, but Kenya, they are coalitions. So Kenya is not that close. Which country in Africa would you say has two equally powerful,
formidable
parties on the two sides of the political spectrum, winning elections equal number of times?
I don't know, maybe Nigeria.
No.
I don't they have APC.
No, Obi, look at what Obi did. So Nigeria now has 3-horse race. And think about Atiku was vice president of PDP. And now he's the candidate for... and Nigeria is not... Nigeria is not... In Ghana, it's almost impregnable, like the US. And I don't know whether it was by design or it was by coincidence. Because I don't know any African country where two political parties are equally strong. Because a lot of elections in African countries, generally, they are not as nail-biting. Yes, oppositions do win, like Senegal. Opposition won in Senegal, but it wasn't because there were two strong parties, but they hadn't exchanged power for long. Diouf party had won for a long time. So this Senegal is more like it takes maybe 16 years to change. We are very unique. And sometimes, and this is a digression, I'll come back to the court. Sometimes, people say our democracy is choiceless and there are problems. But Nathan will tell you there are a lot of African countries where oppositions don't even have a chance.
No.
There's no opposition. No way. And there's also no real contest. So
some are sponsored opposition.
Yeah. So look, I've spoken to even people from places like Uganda. A lot of them don't even have hope of changing government in their lifetime. Okay. Let's go across the continent. Togo, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, there's a strong opposition, but even that, Cote d'Ivoire, you can say they have some semblance of opposition, but they don't do their policies like us. Then you go to Guinea, Mali, nothing's going on in those places. Chad, all right. Then let's even go to Southern Africa. Botswana, fine, they have one party and they've handed over. They don't have our type.
Producing some very interesting results.
Go to Zambia. Zambia, you can say a bit close.
They've had a number of tragedies.
Yes, but they've had opposition that in Zambia, opposition can win elections. So Zambia is a bit, because we are talking about liberal democracy that can guarantee a semblance of a fair election with a possibility of changing government. Many African countries don't have that. Let's look at Togo very closely. It's almost impossible, right? Maybe Benin has had
but even that, their context. I remember when Boni Yayi became president, their context was very different because they had a mix of people contested. So you had
it's like an open field.
Open field. So not parties, but you had contestants or candidates. And then when Boni Yayi won, then he did this amalgamation.
Do they have a history of parties like the way Ghana has, where you have entrenched 3 decades of political tradition? You know what we call it political tradition? Do they have that
not
type of
necessarily.
thing?
It's more personality than party, because there was the Kirikou era and then there was the Soglo era. Right, so you had those two personalities dominating.
Different. I think it's pretty similar. Very
Rooted in
ethnic-
history?
Rooted in history. Very ethnic oriented.
Okay. Is it 2 or 3? How many parties?
Well, basically 2 strong ones, and they are very, very. It's basically the Luos versus the Kikuyus most of the time, unless somebody from the Rift Valley comes in or a Kalenjin and
then they change the balance.
Then it switches the balance a bit.
But you say personalities are stronger than parties.
Yes.
There. Because here, it's almost impossible to leave a party to form a new party and for the party to compete.
I'm sitting down and I'm thinking look out to the next election for Aaron Moy,
who's from his father.
Yes, his son.
But they seem to have a dynastic system.
Yes, but
Kenyatta's son.
But Aaron seems to be very popular. He's been building himself up.
What I'm saying though is that in Ghana, okay, to be fair, Akufo-Addo is the son of a former president. So you can't really say that we don't have that in Ghana. But what I'm trying to say though is that in Kenya, right, somebody can leave a party and form a party around himself.
Yes.
And people will go.
Yes.
But here, it's not good. It doesn't work.
Yeah, because that person, but in Kenya, the kind of person who will do that will be somebody who has significant sway, and there will be very, very ethnic sentiments behind it.
That's my point. Here, the power is distributed. So if one man leaves a party, he may be very powerful, but the party will not follow him. He will go with a few people, but the party...
Maybe the right people
who have not done it yet.
No, we haven't empowered... No, think about it differently. See, Kenyatta, Uhuru, wealthy, strong tradition, seen by... And then I'm simplifying things here. Seen by Kikuyus.
He moved with a huge chunk of... And eventually won
that
it.
was 19...
No, Jerry Rawlings, if he had wanted to leave the NDC, I dare say that he would have had a huge...
He fell out with Mills a lot. You see, we have the history.
Yeah, but he did not form a party.
When he was in from 2000 to 2008, he had a lot of issues with NDC, but he didn't. The NDC...
Yeah, but he did not move. Of course, the wife formed the party, but he did not form a party. I'm saying that...
If he had formed...
Yeah, we would have tested your theory.
Okay, right.
Of course, John Kufuor, with all his popularity...
So maybe we say our leaders don't do that.
No. They stick with what
so
they do.
the real leaders don't take that decision.
No, not at all. But good or bad, they stay in there.
So you're saying we shouldn't say our system is foolproof. It's just not been tested like that.
Yeah, that's right.
I was thinking that because of the way the country is divided and the way the parties coalesce around specific groups, it's very difficult to have one person have so much clout over the coalition.
No, it's just the person.
It may break up his party, but it will not be enough to win an election.
It's like Sky is saying, I agree with Sky here. The right person hasn't come along.
You sure?
Oh yeah. It's always about, I've told you, it's always about the person.
Because I used to think, okay, then maybe I'm being Ghanaian exceptionalist. I used to think that we have a, maybe I'm like, oh, Ghana is democracy. There with some things we won't tolerate. You can go, that kind of thing.
Yes, there is that, but I'm also saying it's the right person. Yeah.
But do we have enough of the right people?
That's the question.
So maybe you said Rawlings was one, and he decided not to do it. All right. So we'll see. Wow. So I'm just surprised that when you look across Africa, look at Cameroon. No. Like guys, let's be honest. We are in 2024. Paul Biya was president when I was in like class 4. Like why?
Don't you know that there's a media ban? Why even discussing Paul Biya?
Okay, sorry. Okay.
There's a media ban on discussing Paul Biya.
Enforceable only within the jurisdiction.
We don't know.
They can show up.
They don't have any extraterritorial enforcement.
I'm thinking about proper. Look, let's go to Rwanda that we talk about. The guy won election by 99% of the vote. That's
maybe the people like him that much.
Come on.
Then they say the opposition is just there in name.
Sky. Look. So apart from Kenya in the east, is Tanzania a proper democracy?
Yeah, Tanzania has its moments.
Do they have a strong opposition?
They've decimated the opposition, but they're still viable.
The thing is some way, and you go across Central Africa. If I want to take Africa, Central Africa is the poorest. So that's even DRC.
Which one are you discussing? Which government are you discussing?
DRC. Then let's go to Congo Brazzaville itself. What are they doing?
They are trying to rebuild.
They're trying to, yeah.
Then when you take people like Chad, Idris Deby, Niger, Mali, Guinea. So even if Ghana develops, We have, this.
have a big
You
problem.
see, so you now see why the US being very much interested in promoting democracy as the solution to the collective problems we face is imposing the kind of restrictions it's imposing. Because there is a fear that Ghana, which is a symbol for many, which we sell to many people across
if
the
Ghana
country.
goes, everybody else goes.
Yeah, that's right.
No, if Ghana goes, everything is gone.
Everything is gone. So we need as much as possible to protect what we have. This is the only place that you can go and say whatever you want to say on radio.
But it's
and go
serious.
free.
Start from Senegal. Fine, they have a position who's in government.
Mm.
Gambia,
the Senegalese democracy, well,
it has gone through proper transition.
Gone through proper transition. It was not.
I dare say their system is as resilient as ours.
Yeah, that's right. Because you know that what's his name, Sal or whatever.
Try to even touching the constitution.
But you know that they
fidget with the constitution.
What helps them is that their politics is not based on ethnic lines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the best things Senegal has. Where
maybe not.
Oh, I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, Senegal doesn't have the ethnic fault lines of a lot of African countries where parties align around ethnic groups. So if you look at Sierra Leone, you look at Liberia and all these places that have had trouble, somehow people rally. So like Liberia, they'll say we the indigenes versus the Americo-Liberians. People use that. Senegal, for some reason, I watched a very long documentary on the country. It's like, you are my brother. They are all the same people. So that, in a sense, makes it impossible for the politicians to use.
Are they homogeneous like that?
Not necessarily.
No, but
the warlords.
What I'm saying that they don't. It's not. It doesn't show up in politics.
It's not exploited.
It's not shown up in politics. You see, because if you look at this whole Africa thing we are discussing, Ghana is probably is in the top 5 democracies in the continent, no doubt, as a functioning democracy with all our problems, and it tells you the poor quality of democracy in Africa.
Democratic infrastructure across the continent.
It's sad though.
Superstructure in many parts.
It is unbelievable. Let's do things with that trend. I don't know. Guys, so if Ghana does well, we have to pull others along because Charlie, you need. You see, if you look at what's happening in Vietnam and Thailand, these are the spin-offs of Korea, China, Japan. There's always that sort of how do I even put it? What's the word to use? Give me a word. It's like you can't develop in isolation. But so if Ghana even starts to do well, we need to start asserting our influence in Gambia, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Anglophone before even a Francophone situation. It's a very tough situation we have. You know, you can't do that. You can't. You can't do that.
Who's going to tell your neighbor, the next door, the president next door?
But see, guys, listen. Our foreign minister is now a Commonwealth head. I think some of that was because of the clout of our president internationally, right? Now, what I'm trying to say is that Ghana still has stature in the sub-region, not military stature, but respect.
Oh, the military stature we have.
We have. Of course, Nigeria has more. Yeah. My point is that Ghana's leadership role within even Anglophone West Africa is clear.
Oh yeah, for that one.
Okay, if Ghana and Nigeria get their act together, they can actually pull the others along. And if you look at the stature of our president in the sub-region,
you see that's why
his only classmate is the Cote d'Ivoire president.
You see, that's why we need to actually get it right to a large extent domestically.
Yes.
So that we can exert that influence
over the continent.
Yeah. But if we
over the sub-region first.
Over the sub-region. Yeah. Because a lot of them look up to us.
Looking at you, what are you saying?
No, but what am I saying? I'm saying that we need to get our act together.
That's true.
So that we can play our leadership role effectively. Because places like Gambia, Liberia, Sierra Leone, they would obviously look up to Ghana. Somebody told me that when he was in Liberia working, the prize for the beauty queen was the ticket to Ghana. Can you imagine? Air ticket to Ghana as a prize.
The way they love Ghana.
And we are here, we are misbehaving. Caleb, bring me Tech and Social Media Trends.
The Tech and Social Media Trends is brought to us by First Bank. We've got exciting news we'd like to let you know. Join us at selected branches from now until Friday, November 8 for our SME fair. Get incredible discounts on toiletries, provision, clothing, drinks. First Bank Ghana SME fair is on at our Atomic Junction branch from now until Friday, November 1 tomorrow. Then from Monday, November 4 till Friday, November 8, the First Bank SME Fair moves to Santa Maria branch, Blue Kiosk Junction. Will be at Tema Community 1 branch near Community 1 Market Square. Spintex one branch near Allied Oil Filling Station, and Dansuman branch near Dansuman Market. Visit any of these branches and enjoy free eye screening and coconut while you shop. Call this number 0531 072 643. First Bank, you first. Now switch to Telecel fixed broadband today and experience incredible bonuses, non-expiry bundles, data transfers across devices, and lots more. New customers get 50% bonus data in addition to other mind-blowing offers, and existing customers receive 300% bonus data on every broadband renewal. To keep browsing, subscribe to Telecel fixed broadband for these amazing offers. Dial *900# or use our Telecel Play app. www.telecel.com.gh is the place to visit. Terms and conditions apply. Telecel, connecting energies.
All right, Nathan will tell us what's trending this morning.
Okay, let's get into the trends and hashtag NSMQ finals here. So that's trending with God is a Moba, Keta, or Gasco, and the school.
Imagine what it feels like
for all the saints.
An Absunian this morning, waking up to one point. It's like nightmares.
Anyway, so all of these things are trending. Infantipim School, they won this year's National Science and Math quiz.
NSMQ.
It was a final between themselves, St. Augustine's College and Keta Secondary. So, Keta Senior High School, as it's called these days. So, congrats to all the Infantipim people, the Kwabuchi boys. Red and black was dominating yesterday. Benjamin Nketia,
Charlie,
congrats to you. Congrats to my brother-in-law Edwin.
Oh, he's also a Kwabuchi boy.
Yes, Edwin's a Kwabuchi boy. He and his friends were very, very happy. To other things that are trending, last night there was some football action, so you can imagine Disasi, Axel Disasi Axel Disasi is trending. Leicester is trending. Newcastle is trending. Nkunku, Casemiro, Maresca, all of these ones trending. Legon City is also trending. They beat Asante Kotoko yesterday, so they handed Kotoko their first league loss of the season. To some politics, and Sal also trending. So in the midst of all the Supreme Court matters, Sal has emerged. So people are talking a lot about that. And also, the other thing is John Mohammed's questions to Dr. Baumia also trending. I see question 49.
Maybe they should do what do you know instead of debate. They should get a guy to do. Question 1.
Why is Ghana's economy?
Ghana 2020 election, 24 election quiz. Question 1.
Nice. To some tech news, and I found the story really sad but yet intriguing. Now, a mother in the U.S. state of Florida, Megan Garcia, is suing Character.ai. It's a platform that lets users have in-depth conversations with artificial intelligence chatbots. Why is she doing so? Her 14-year-old son committed suicide. And according to the lawsuit, she is saying that her son was messaging with the bot in the moments before he died. Wow. So she's taking the entity or the company to court, and the lawsuit also claims that the platform did not adequately respond when her son began to express thoughts of self-harm to the bot. That's what was filed in a federal court in Florida. So it's raising concerns about AI, chatbots,
and then also the ethical issues involved. Because if you use some of the platforms and you introduce certain words, they will tell you immediately that no, this is an AI.
And the boy is
how old? Go into
14.
Blah, blah,
the boy is 14.
So those controls are very much necessary. When you start using certain words, the algorithms should be able to spot that immediately and intervene to block certain things. But it's unfortunate. Well, it's a matter that the courts would have to deal with.
Yes.
And it raises the issue of regulation and then also the ethical considerations that should weigh heavily.
I see. So we'll keep an eye on this. She's filed it in a court in Florida. So we'll see eventually what the law courts have got to say.
It's just interesting that just in California, they passed a law which was going to be really hard on tech firms.
Yes. Some of the companies were really fighting hard.
But they had to block it. So Newsom, the governor, intervened and then vetoed the legislation. Not far away, Florida.
It's on this other side.
And then this thing is happening. Europe has also passed its own legislation to regulate the space. And
so what are we doing? That's the question. That was taking social media trends.
Okay, so you remember that the majority leader had filed an application asking that the Speaker should not determine any matter that would lead to vacancies being created in Parliament. Despite the pendency of that particular application, the minority leader, Honourable Atuforson, raised the matter on the floor of Parliament, sidestepping an earlier intention served by the Honourable Haruna Idrisu. And the Speaker, despite having been told that there was an application pending in court to that effect, granted audience to the House to hear the matter. Subsequently, he made a ruling 2 days later, which ruling in effect vacated those seats. The majority leader, feeling aggrieved, went back to court to say that, well, I was before you.
The same Supreme Court.
Exactly, the same Supreme Court. I was before you asking that you should stay the hands of the Speaker. The matter was not heard. The applications I had filed to that effect had not been determined yet. The Speaker has made a decision that would injure my interests and the interests of my side in Parliament on the matter. So please intervene and stop the Speaker from going on with what he has done. That was granted on the 17th of on the 18th of October. Now the Speaker,
so that's a Friday.
Exactly. So the Speaker agreed.
But it was ex-party.
Yeah, it was ex-party.
So the majority leader went without notice to the other side.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So the Speaker, aggrieved by the decision of the Supreme Court, filed an application inviting the court to take a second look at his own decision and to vacate it or to set it aside, because in his view, the court did not have the authority to have even considered the matter in the first place, and that even if there was an issue, that was not the forum to deal with it. The court heard the matter yesterday and said that, look, the Speaker, we do not agree with you. File the relevant processes. Let's look into the matter proper and decide it.
I'm told there were two preliminary issues. The Attorney General complained about some specific wording of the Speaker's legal team, and the Speaker's legal team also asked for one of the justices on the panel to be removed. I'm told both did not succeed.
Yeah, to a large extent, if you look at it, the Speaker's characterization through his lawyers of what was to be done by the court suggested that they were basically doing a partisan job there. So the Attorney General took strong exception to it and said that that should be struck down, because the court is not there to do the bidding of the party or a group of parties. You understand? And then also, you do know that the respected justice from the Volta region at some point was associated with the MPP. And there is a suggestion that he even at some point attempted to become a member of Parliament at the ticket of the party, if those facts are correct. Of course, he himself had said publicly when he appeared before the vetting committee or the appointments committee that he, prior to joining the bench, had resigned from the MPP as a party. Now, those matters came up before the appointments committee. The appointments committee scrutinized them.
Of Parliament,
yes,
still passed him.
And then passed him. The House passed him to become a justice of the Supreme Court. The President subsequently appointed him to that office. Now, the Speaker took exception to him sitting on the panel that decided the original matter and said that by reason of his previous association with the party, it would seem that his interest still aligns with the party in government, and therefore he was less likely to be fair and impartial in dealing with the matter. And therefore he should recuse himself. Of course, these are matters that normally come up, whether a judge is likely to be seen to be biased towards one party or the other. Normally when these things come up, sometimes the judges themselves would advise themselves, or that a court higher than them would make a decision to that effect. On this occasion, the court looked at the matter and said, look, first of all, these matters came before the appointments committee. They were considered, and the decision was made to pass him. Therefore, this is not the forum to come and relitigate that matter. Parliament, in its own wisdom, which has the authority to approve such nominations, had approved them already. So you cannot come here and expect us to overturn the will of Parliament. The issue it raises, though, is whether that would throw doubts in the minds of people as to whether there was really justice being done in the case, because justice must not only be done but must be seen to have been done. So that is an entirely different matter. Except to say that there's a rule in the common law world, which is the principle of necessity, which basically says that, well, you may have grievances with the person who is sitting on your matter, but if that person is the person who must make the decision, you should allow the person to make the decision, unless there's evidence to show that some considerations completely unconnected to the matter in issue weighed in on his decision, which in effect is injurious to your interest.
So these two preliminary matters were dealt with. Now, for some reason, the issue that Mr. Babin took, that the court should overturn its own stay of execution, of course, the court disagreed with him.
Yes.
All right. So you can say that was Bagbin's substantive matter that was dealt with.
No, not substantive.
No, I'm saying in the context of what he took to court for hearing yesterday, the substantive matter has not been heard.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. That Bagbin's, because don't forget, we've dealt with two preliminary issues.
Application.
Yes, we are trying to help each other. So I'm saying the main issue was what Babin wanted them to do. But before that, he had asked for the recusing of the judge, which was not agreed. But the court disagreed with him also on asking the Supreme Court to reverse its own decision. They did disagree with him.
Yeah, they disagreed with him. So the fundamental basis for his application was that the court did not have the powers to give the orders that it made. And therefore, the court should re-examine his own orders and his own powers and set aside that order. The court said that no, these matters are properly within the authority to look into. The existence of jurisdiction is one thing. As to whether the jurisdiction has been properly invoked is another. To explain briefly, to have the power to look into something
is
one
issue,
thing, and they have that.
And
matter.
whether you've come before me in the right way,
exactly,
for me to look into it, another issue.
And the Chief Justice made that point clearly. So what the court is saying is that, look, you file your processes. We'll look into the substance of what the majority leader has brought, and to even examine whether our jurisdiction has been properly invoked in the first place, and then proceed to make a decision. That is my respectful understanding.
Okay, so a couple of issues arise from here. The main issue to be determined is still the issue the majority leader took to the Supreme Court before the Speaker's October 16 ruling. So that matter will be heard when?
On the 11th, it will be heard and most likely decided that day.
Good. Now, the CJ had asked the Speaker's lawyer to present his whatever they call
side of the case,
and was wondering why he hadn't done that. But while that was going on, the AG also said he didn't even think that the Speaker's side were needed in the matter, and that in fact he raised two issues: that the matter that a majority leader has taken to the Supreme Court of Interpretation does not need a response from the Speaker's side, because the matter can be dealt with on its own. And number two, he didn't think that even counsel for the Speaker was legitimate, because the process to have been gone through to appoint him, he believes, had not been done. What was the court's view on those two matters?
Okay, so here's the thing. You know, this is an often litigated matter. Article 88 of the Constitution is clear that it is the Attorney General who shall represent the interests of the state on matters like this. If a constitutional matter comes up and the state is sued, it's the AG who shall file the necessary processes. But in a number of decisions of the court, they have taken the view that there may be times where the interests of the Attorney General will not align with a particular institution of state that is sued. For example, in the current case, the Speaker of Parliament made a decision. That decision is being litigated by a member of the House. Because the member of the House in question happens to be sort of a member of cabinet. The Attorney General is a member of cabinet. And there is a likelihood that they might agree on...
There's no way the Attorney General will defend the Speaker in this matter.
That's
exactly what we are trying to say.
So in that sense, you need to hear from the horse's own mouth. Why did you do A, B, and C? So they have developed this practice or convention, if you like, or this rule, that in those cases, the people directly affected or whose actions are being challenged should come and so that you understand? So that is what has developed. Now, it's something that has, of course, in my own case, you know, the Parliament has been sued. So Parliament is filing its own processes in that respect. But the Attorney General sought to elevate that matter yesterday because, in his view, he thought that Parliament was trying to, if you like, delay the processes. You understand? So the court should just simply remove Parliament.
So that it's just going to determine the matter. But the court did not agree. No. So they will give the counsel for the Speaker how many days to bring his...
as I understand, it's supposed to happen within 7 days. So within 7 days, they must file the right processes. And then on the 11th...
So today is 31st.
Yes.
So by 7th or 8th, they would have submitted or filed, as you people use the word.
Yes.
So on 11th October, what are they deciding?
So on the 11th
November.
11th November, what are they doing?
So this is where the substantive matter that Alex Apenyu-Makin took to court will be heard. And by that I mean his lawyers will state why they are in court and why they believe that there is an issue to be litigated before the Supreme Court and whether the Supreme Court is the right forum in the first place. They will make all of those arguments and put their own interpretation to what is an issue, Article 97 of the Constitution. And they will be asked questions. There will be a response from Parliament to that effect. Whether they agree or disagree, they will state so. And then the Attorney General would also be heard on the subject matter. As I understand it, the court would then, adjourn, not adjourn, basically suspend sitting, and go and consider the issues and come back.
Let me hear the legal arguments preferred, and I'll bring you the CJ's ruling in the next few moments. This is Citi Breakfast Show, taking you quickly through yesterday's legal gymnastics from the Supreme Court. Here are the two lawyers.
The first defendant's ruling is not a judicial decision, which is properly the type of order or ruling, which is the subject of the court's orders for stay of execution. At the very best, it's an administrative decision. It's not a judicial, it was not based on any judicial determination of any matter. Linked to that fact is the tried position that when we say stay of execution, we don't say it as a semantic expression, by way of semantics. It is based on the rules of the court. It's a statutory position that certain matters are liable to be progressed by way of what the law says, execution. And the law defines how to execute things, not from anywhere, but from the judgments of courts. The Speaker's ruling is not one of them.
The Speaker's ruling is not executable.
It's not executable within the meaning of the rules that govern the practice before this court and any other court for that matter. That's the third ground. And the fourth ground, let me make reference to the cases, is that the processes, the processes initiated for purposes of the order, the ex parte application, was made in breach of the rules of natural justice. And this arises from a plain reading of the rules of the High Court, which provide for applications, because the rules in this court don't provide extensively for applications. My lords, I will refer to Order 19 of the rules of the High Court, which say clearly that every application must be made on notice. That's the first rule, which allows for ex parte applications. Our submission is that the rule 3 of 19 talks about ex parte applications, and it says subject to Rule 1, sub Rule 3. That's of Order 19. May be made ex parte where any of the rules provides. Circumstances the court considers it proper to permit the application to be made. Now that's all. We should read the sub rules in context. The court may make an order ex parte on such terms and subject to such undertakings as it considers just, where it is satisfied that the delay caused by proceeding in the ordinary way would or might entail irreparable damage or serious mischief. Now, my lord, we are dealing with a plaintiff who has demonstrated that he is capable of getting the court to sit at very short hours. He files his ex parte application at 12:40. He gets the panel of the court to sit at 2. Our submission is that he should have made it on notice, together with a motion for abridgment of time. There was an intervening Monday before Parliament would next sit, and the first defendant would at least have been given an opportunity on that presentation record on the grounds and basis for that application. And so that's the reason why we contend that the application itself did not properly come within the exception to the rule that he should have come on notice, because it was always possible, given the facts of this case.
We submit that the instant application is offensive to the rules of procedure of this honorable court, is unknown to the laws governing the jurisdiction of the court. The first point we make respectfully is that the Constitution has set out in clear terms the manner in which the decision of the court can be made. This application completely violates the laid down procedure for challenging a decision of the court in the Constitution. Article 133, clause 1. 133, clause 1 of the Constitution vests the Supreme Court with power to, and I quote, review any decision made or given by it on such grounds and subject to such conditions as may be prescribed by rules of court. Respectfully, the instant application seeks an order setting aside the process and proceedings of the court and vacating the order of the court. Respectfully, the decision in question, exercise of right. Respectfully, Article 133, clause 1, the review, 133, I'm sorry, 133, the review is of the court. Respectfully, my contention is that this provision is a rule under which a person aggrieved by a decision of the court comes by to seek a review or variation of the decision. The instant application is not an application for review. It doesn't invoke the court's review powers and is therefore unknown to the laws governing the jurisdiction of the court. Especially Article 134 also vests the Supreme Court with the same powers of review of a decision of a single justice. Indeed, the decision in question was not by a single justice. But the point I seek to make is that whenever a decision of the court is being sought to be reviewed, varied, or discharged, the procedure for doing so is as set out in the Constitution. And this is not. The meaning of Article 97, clause 1, paragraphs J and H, as advanced by my learned friend, counsel for defense defendant, in which he says are clear, have been contradicted by the plaintiff in this case. And indeed, I have also duly filed a similar case in it, and totally, his understanding, with all respect, is wrong. There cannot be a more demonstrable case for a controversy as having arisen in respect of a provision of the Constitution than the instant case. But indeed, my respectful submission is that indeed it will be a recipe for chaos, lawlessness, and a danger to the security of the state for a person to contend that merely on account of his own understanding of the Constitution, which he says are clear, a writ issued duly invoked the decision of the Supreme Court has to be set aside. And that would be the basis for lawless conduct. And this honorable court owes a duty not to encourage him. I'm fortified in this proposition by the locus classicus on the matter to Fore and Attorney General, reported in 1980 Ghana report at page 637.
So those were the two. First, we had lawyer Thaddeus Sorry, counsel for the Speaker, and then the Attorney General, who was also on his feet. Now let's hear the CJ, the Chief Justice's ruling on the matter.
By declaring that their duly elected representatives in Parliament had vacated their seats for acts that were interpreted within the light of Article 97(1)(g) by the Speaker, the Speaker was actually enforcing this interpretation of Article 97(1)(g) against those hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians, and not just the 4 people that sit in Parliament. He was also doing so at a time that from the official records of Parliament presented to the Supreme Court, the Speaker knew that a contrary interpretation was being placed on the same constitutional provision, and that the Supreme Court's jurisdiction had been invoked to provide the correct interpretation. By reason of law, there could be no by-election to replace these elected representatives between 17th October 2024 and 7th January 2025. So these Ghanaians would have been left without a voice and representation in Parliament from 18th October 2024 until 7th January 2025, when the 9th Parliament can be duly constituted in Ghana. This exceptional circumstance arising from the outcome of the ruling weighed on the mind of the Supreme Court to grant an order directing a stay of execution of the ruling of the Speaker on 17th October 2024. Second, the effect of this ruling would be that the salaries, allowances, and other emoluments of these members of Parliament would have had to stop being paid immediately. They would have had to vacate their offices in Parliament and cease functioning on any committee of Parliament that they were serving on. If any of them was a minister or deputy minister and had been appointed as such by reason of being members of Parliament, the ruling that they had vacated their seats could have brought those duties to an immediate halt. Indeed, one of the 4 members of Parliament is the current second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. The Supreme Court was very clear that these outcomes that could cause irreparable harm to the constituencies in issue and the MPs themselves constituted exceptional circumstances to warrant a halt of the ruling of the Speaker. The controversy raised had been resolved. The consideration of these exceptional circumstances was clearly spelled out in the ruling of 18th October 2024. So it is surprising that the applicant should urge that the discretion of the Supreme Court was exercised in breach of Article 296. So why did the Supreme Court grant orders after hearing this application ex parte or without notice to the Speaker of Parliament? Once again, the ruling stated the reason clearly. The official records of Parliament for 17th October 2024 was placed before the Supreme Court as an exhibit. The record showed that the processes of court had been served through the legal department of Parliament, and this had been brought to the notice of the Speaker. He bantered extensively on this information with the plaintiff on the floor of Parliament. And the Speaker's only reason for choosing to quarrel with the summons from the Supreme Court, an application for injunction to restrain him from ruling on a matter premise on interpretation of Article 97(1)(g), was that as Speaker, he was only supposed to be served with court processes on Monday. This is an unfortunate interpretation of the first column of the circular referred to, because this circular provides for the Speaker of Parliament to be served personally on Mondays and through the legal department of Parliament on any day. Clearly spelled out in the ruling of 18th October 2024. So it is surprising that the applicant should urge that the discretion of the Supreme Court was exercised in breach of Article 296. But whatever interpretation of the circular that the Speaker chose to put on how he was to be served, the Supreme Court is satisfied that the Speaker was well served with notice of the action that had been started on 15th October 2024 and seeking the correct interpretation of Article 97(1)(g) of the Constitution. He was well served before he delivered his ruling on 17th October 2024 that would lead to the exceptional circumstances enumerated herein. And the Supreme Court carries the constitutional obligation to give the correct interpretation of Article 97(1)(g) for its enforcement, if need be, by the High Court or any person that the interpretation comes to. Hence, the scope of the orders made to stay enforcement of the Speaker's interpretation of Article 97(1)(g). Grant of orders beyond 10 days. The Speaker's lawyer urges that because of Order 25 Rule 18 of the High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2004, CI 47, that enjoins High Courts to grant injunctions and other preservation orders for 10 days in the first instance if heard as party, and without notice to one party summoned before the court. The Supreme Court was also enjoined to grant the ex parte order for 10 days as a matter of rules and practice. This is a submission that fails to appreciate the import of Article 2.2 and 2.3 and 2.4, which guide the Supreme Court when dealing with a constitutional matter such as this. We will quote again Articles 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4. The Supreme Court shall, for the purposes of a declaration under clause 1 of this article, make such orders and give such directions as it may consider appropriate for giving effect or enabling effect to be given to declarations so made. Any person or group of persons to whom an order or direction is addressed under clause 2 of this article by the Supreme Court shall duly obey and carry out the terms of the order or direction. The Constitution enjoins the Supreme Court to make orders that are appropriate for giving effect or enabling effect to be given to its final declarations on the correct meaning of a constitutional provision. And the Constitution is so serious about ensuring the obedience of such orders that it creates the offense of high crime for failure to obey such orders in Article 2.4. Not even the President and Vice President are exempt from obeying the orders of the Supreme Court when they are made to give effect to its duty to prevent a violation of the Constitution. Because of the irreparable harm to the constituencies made up of hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians who would have lost their MPs without the option of a by-election, and the irreparable harm to the MPs who would have lost their seats in Parliament in these last few weeks to the 7th December elections, if the meaning put on Article 97(1)(g) by the Speaker was enforced without a clear determination of the disputes around it, this court found it expedient to compel the parties to allow an early hearing rather than make an order that would last only 10 days. This is the reason for the Supreme Court's orders abridging the 14 days allowed for defending a constitutional action through a statement of case and directing the parties to file their respective statements of cases within 7 days and present the issues for resolution immediately thereafter. If the parties had complied with the court's orders, this would have taken all of the 10 days the applicant urges an ex parte order ought to last. Compliance would also have enabled this court to dispose of this case by this week, including the question of whether the suit is competent in form or the jurisdiction of this court has been properly invoked. It is important, and the question of whether the jurisdiction has been properly invoked is different from whether the jurisdiction exists. It's a different legal question. It is important to place on record that both the plaintiff and the Attorney General have complied with these orders, and this court is able to complete hearing of this suit if the Speaker chooses to file no processes For the above reasons, the application is refused.
So that was the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. So the big day is 11th, since such 11th of November 2024 for that matter to be heard. There's a lot of interesting cases. And you know, the other interesting thing is that we are seeing Parliament and the Supreme Court interpose quite a bit, because even in the LGBTQ case as well, which we understand there will be a development today, it's also a Parliament issue. And there's a Supreme Court has been invited to take an action there. I think we've discussed this in the past, where the three arms of government are having to interact in a way where in the past it was at a respectful deference to each other, but the circumstances of our competitive policies have forced a lot of them parliamentary matters to be sent to the bosom of the Supreme Court. And I think the CJ was quite clear when she said, even if it comes to the executive, they have the power as the judiciary to declare even the president or the vice president's actions unconstitutional. Yeah. Now, I don't know if anybody has, I don't know how, to what extent we've tested that. I think there have been a few cases where that has been tested.
Oh, yes. I mean, I mentioned on television the other day the celebration of coup anniversaries under the Rawlings administration, which the Supreme Court said you can't use public funds for that purpose. Of course, when the president did his state of emergency, which was done during the COVID period, of course, the court belatedly, rather unfortunately, with great respect, decided the matter after the matter was really of no moment, but it has set a particular precedent. So I can mention a number of cases in which the courts held that the executive acted in excess of constitutional requirement. The issue, though, is whether the timing, so for instance, Domelevo's case, it was obvious that the presidency overstepped its bounds by forcing Domelevo to go on early retirement, in essence, or to go proceed.
Has the Supreme Court had the chance to speak about that delay, or I mean, we call it delay, the timelines, because somebody has been unlawfully removed, and he's been asked to go home, and then you've, I will almost say posthumously, come out to say, well, he was wrongly removed.
Truly unfortunate.
Have they had the chance at any forum to address that?
Not that I know of. What I know they generally say is that they are under so much stress and burden with cases that have come before them, because the Supreme Court of Ghana is unique in its own right. Every little thing can be applied, can be appealed all the way to the Supreme Court. But you said
something, that justice must not only be done, but it must be manifestly seen to be done. So if a Supreme Court, a man has been removed, I'm going to the level now, a man has been removed, and the case has come before you, and you waited for him to be replaced, and he's basically home, and his age has even passed the age, and then you come out to say he was unlawfully removed. Aren't you weakening yourself and rendering your own judgments unenforceable? Because it's only a matter of what is there on paper, but the action has already damaged the person's life.
You see, that is to say that what happened in that case, I mean, admittedly, is completely unacceptable, with great respect to the Supreme Court, because there was either real breach or threatened breach of the Constitution. And one would have respectfully, with great respect to the Supreme Court, expected that the court will act timeously, deal with the matter while the iron was still very hot, and to tell the president in your face that, look, you may have the power to appoint, but you do not have the power to ask the guy to leave office just the way you were doing. And that if you wanted to take him out of office, use the proper structures provided for by the Constitution. You can't just write an administrative letter and say the man should proceed on leave, and then subsequently say that his age differed from A, B, C, D, and use that as a process to get him out. So I think all of us must admit that that was a great oversight on the part of the Supreme Court, with all due respect.
Listening to the CJ deliver a ruling, did you sense pressure? Because I felt like she was, I think there was a couple of occasions where she said, people say this, people say that, but that's not what it is. It seems as if the commentary and the public backlash may be getting to them, because she, I don't know, you are a lawyer, so you would know this. I felt like somehow the commentary is affecting them, and they are having to explain more why they are doing what they are doing. Together in that
see, yeah, that's right, Bernard. You see, it is actually truly unfortunate. You know, there's a friend of ours, a common friend of ours who told me something, that you see, law in its purest sense, without any contamination, is a sweet thing, right? But the moment you mix that with even the tiniest bit of politics, you have created the most potent witchcraft ever conjured by man. I'm crediting Kojo, not in his exact words. But you see, what it is that some things are just so simple that you would expect that the average human with average intelligence would follow what has been written down and that things will go normally. But sometimes people put a spin on what, is before the court and what is being decided. Of course, there are times that utterances from judges themselves do not help the matters. But we have agreed as a democracy that this is the path that we have chosen. That when there is a dispute, that dispute must be settled by a particular body. You may disagree as to how people came to be members of the panel or how they came to be members of the bench. But there are processes that ought to have been engaged. If those processes allow those people to go and sit there, then when they make a decision, while we can criticize them constructively as to ensure that going forward things improve, we should not be insulting them personally, attacking their family, doing funny photographs of them, and all kinds of things that we write on social media. Because whether we like it or not, we have created a special category, and I'm using the word advisedly, of people who should be wise enough to look at our rules, the rule books, and say that this is what the rules say.
But
now,
is it also fair for politicians on both sides to because you see the justices they are supposed to be law, right? But there's a lot of things that end up in court because of politics. So look, there's a fight in Parliament for political advantage. It's found its way into the court. So you cannot derobe politics away from that law. So even though it's a legal question they are going to interpret, at the basis of all the dispute is politics. So I'm not even talking about the social media commentary. There are some cases which are by nature political. So even though they end up in court as legal issues, the basis of all that argument they are arguing is politics.
But you see, this particular case, with the greatest respect, it's not a political case. It's a constitutional matter.
No, I'm not talking about the case before the Supreme Court. I'm talking about the circumstances that led to them going to court.
Yeah, you see,
because what was happening with I sit on the left, I'll do this, it's politics, not law.
So let's ask ourselves.
So if 4 MPs go and file that they will run independent or run another party, that's politics. Then it becomes a question of law if the dispute cannot be resolved in Parliament and therefore it goes to court.
Yeah, because
so I'm saying that the matter is a political matter.
So you see, so ideally,
it's a political matter.
In any country where people are behaving properly, officials are behaving properly, the matter comes up. If you don't have the power to deal with it, say that, look, this matter, I don't have the power to deal with it. If you believe that you have the power to deal with it, you deal with it. And somebody says that, oh, you don't have the power to deal with it. So the people who have been given the power to deal with this matter, they should come inside and look inside and determine what we should do. Once those people have been called in, the first thing you should do is, on this matter, okay, well, I disagree with you. I would allow you to do what you have to do. In the meantime, I'm respecting your decision. Look, let's continue proceedings until after the court itself says that, look, I did the right thing or I did not do the right thing. In a properly functioning democracy, that is what responsible people do. But you see, you have created a situation where...
Sky, let's be careful. Even in US, political competition drives a lot of institutions to the brink. When people are desperate for power, when people will leave no stone unturned to get an advantage, they will do their politics to its extreme, which then puts pressure on Parliament and put pressure on the courts. And again, that's the nature of democracy. But we need to ask ourselves, are we building or destroying our institutions? That's one. Number two, the point about sometimes the institutions themselves must work to protect their own reputation. Okay, so the point you made about the Malevo case is regrettable. And sometimes the courts must help themselves in consistency of the way they apply the law. Because a lot of the people in the public, we don't understand law. And sometimes when you people start doing your law, we just get lost. But you may win the legal battle, but lose the public confidence. So I'm coming. So we need to also understand that whatever we are doing it on behalf of the public. So we must carry them along. We must I even think there must be open days sometimes where they say, look, today is the day, go and ask a lawyer a question, come to the court, there's no court, we are on legal vacation. Let's explain how we do things to you. The communication department must come, they must do press conferences and explain some issues, because the public is interpreting what you are doing through a certain filter, right? So you may be robed with the power to make that decision, but if the public don't have confidence in the institution, we all suffer. And sometimes the institution must look in the mirror and say, well, how are we looking in the eyes of the public?
Bernard, you see, you have made a valid point, but it is only valid in my respectful view to a limited extent. Why? Look, there are politicians who are lawyers, and in every country where democracy is functioning properly and lawyers know what the law is, they will say that, oh, even though I may disagree with the court, I don't go to the court of public opinion and put a negative spin on what the court has done. The problem we have is not that we should not criticize the court. It is because some people, well aware of what the law is, knowing full well that the Supreme Court has the power to do a particular thing, and you can criticize that in a measured way, they go to the court of public opinion and then poison the atmosphere, so that people who are not as educated as others get to believe that, oh, the politician on my side is saying that this is what this means, and therefore that is what it means. When they know, when you meet them in private, they tell you that, oh, yes, we agree that this is what, but look, we are doing politics. We have to stop being dishonest. The question is whether the Supreme Court, as established by law under our constitution, is similar to what is in the US. No, they are not the same institutions, because in our case, the Constitution says so expressly that when there is a dispute as to what a provision of the Constitution means, the persons to resolve it, they sit on the Supreme Court. It is no other person. They have exclusive jurisdiction to interpret and enforce. Just a minute. Just a minute.
We are not arguing with the right of the court to do that. They are arguing as to whether it is being fairly and consistently done.
Hold on. Let me finish. I will come to that. Let me come to that. And then in the US, they arrogated the Supreme. It's not written in the US Constitution that they have the power to interpret the Constitution. That's why some presidents said in the past that, look, we too, we have our own power to interpret. But in our case, we wrote it in express words. The Supreme Court in the US arrogated themselves the authority to do that. And over time, it's been accepted that that is the way to go. So let's get the distinction clearly. And then also, as I've already said repeatedly, when a court makes a decision and you disagree with it, you can robustly criticize the decision.
Yeah.
You can write academic papers to criticize the decision. What we have in Ghana is the people don't talk law. They then descend into the arena of politics and then insult and attack the judiciary. Now, if Justice Jaiwu, yes, of course, at some point we're told he was a member of the MPP. But he's not the only politician to ever make it to the Supreme Court. In fact, throughout our history, we have had politicians make it onto the bench. You understand? But the central question you should ask is, at the relevant time that the judge is making the decision, was he influenced by some other consideration as opposed to the law he was made to decide upon? If that consideration can be ascertained, then you use that as basis to say that you do the wrong thing some of the time.
Don't get worked up. See, I'm making fundamental points to the questions I'm asking. Now, we are in the media. People criticize us sometimes fairly, sometimes unfairly.
Yes.
The question I tell my journalists is that make sure you are doing the right thing. If you do the wrong thing and people criticize you, you will take it. If you do the right thing and people criticize you, you still take it. But make sure you are doing the right thing. So your stock in the public eyes has two things. The filter through which people look at you and your own actions. So I am saying that what is in your control as a journalist is to make sure you are accurate, you are objective. Some people will never like you. Some people always criticize you. Some people play politics what you do. Some people brand you. But over time, the truth will stand. Fair enough. Now we are saying that it is in our interest to protect institutions, but institutions must also act in a way that gives public confidence. It's a balancing act.
Bernard, I think.
Hold on. So what I've said is not something to contradict.
No. I'm saying that I made that concession.
No, I'm trying to.
For instance, in the Dominic level case, I use that specific example to make the point.
I'm just concluding what we are saying. I'm saying that there are two sides of the responsibility.
Yes.
The people who are acting must act in a way that inures public confidence in the way they do their things, whether it's journalists or judges or whatever, or parliament.
Yes.
we also have to protect institutions
Yes.
and not overly politicize what they do.
That is the real problem.
No, they are
too.
both problems.
Yeah, that's
because if I, as a journalist, every morning come on air and I'm being unethical in what I do, you can't say because media freedom is guaranteed, I can continue doing that.
No.
I am undermining my own freedom by my actions. So what I'm saying is that it's a balancing act, right? You may say that the weight of the responsibility rests on lawyers who should know better in terms of protecting the judiciary. No problem. But the judiciary also sometimes needs to know how its own actions affect perceptions about it.
I made that point.
So I can also make it.
No, you see, I'm just saying.
No, why? The fact that you made that point does not mean you make it. No, because we are trying to arrive at a conclusion so we can all help society.
Okay, go on.
And we have both said that. You see, Sky, there are always two sides to an issue.
Bernard, you see, what I'm trying to say is that, look, you see, my beef really is that the courts are not always right. So when they get it wrong, the process has inbuilt mechanisms for ensuring that they do the right thing. So go and engage that process.
Fair enough.
That does not mean that you should not criticize them, right? But you have a whole member of parliament sit on Facebook and said that you have made some hopeless decision, come to the court, come to parliament and enforce it. I mean, a member of parliament who should have a passable level of intelligence, you should expect that would write some, even if you disagree, say so.
You shouldn't descend to the arena.
Exactly, that's the point I'm making.
That
so
is
that
true.
what we are doing is to destroy these institutions, and it doesn't help us.
There should be decorum and there should be a more respectful way.
Exactly,
of
that's all I'm saying.
Which is interesting because sometimes the more senior legal people, even in opposition, do not use the words that some of the younger ones use.
Yes.
You follow me? So you will see experienced lawyers on both sides who feel aggrieved by issues will be more measured, possibly because they are more experienced. All right, and so they know from history that if you've done law for 40 years, you know that it can go your way or not go your way. But again, the way the public works now, social media is easy. It's very easy to say things and people follow you. And there's also a lot of people who have this illusion of knowledge that because I listen to the radio and I hear lawyers talk, I also understand the law or any other subject. All right, it's a reality you have to deal with. But when you are working as a judiciary in that context, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was watching an advert on TV. The EC did an advert where they said the balloting that we did for the voting was clear. It was an EC advert on TV. It was on Channel 1 TV. They said the balloting, some people were talking about, oh, the EC is manipulating the balloting. And the guy came and said, no. We ballot for the right to, we ballot 2 levels. We ballot first to choose which order we will vote, as in who will pick first, and then we ballot on which order will. So the EC has realized that there is a certain view about its work. So now they are not just doing public education on how to vote, they're also trying to set the record straight. Now I think that the judiciary has to do some of that because don't forget, from even Anna's time, okay, and for me, we don't get anything when we destroy institutions. We all suffer for it. All right. But it is a collective responsibility. And I think let me give you an example. Afrobarometer. The lack of trust in institutions, and this is in Afrobarometer from 2012 to 2024. You see, so sometimes we make it seem as if it's only recently that people are criticizing the judiciary. The reduction in trust for institutions, presidency, parliament, judiciary, historically has been coming down for the past.
Why?
Hold on. I'm not yet there. Hold on. Wait, I'm just making a point. Wait. Don't.
Because at the time,
don't run.
it was
Let's
the
relax.
MPP people who were being irresponsible and attacking the judiciary all the time.
Take your time. I'm saying, take your time. You see, what you are not listening to me. Afrobarometer has shown you that all institutions, trust in them is coming down. Right? From Office of the President, Parliament, Judiciary, ministries, departments, local government officials. So let's not be quick to just point to one cause. If there is a general decline in trust in institutions across the board over a decade and a half, there may be more nuanced causes than just some irresponsible politician attacking everybody.
That is.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So the research has shown us the what. We can then go and diagnose the why. I think the institutions involved, when the police are accused of being corrupt and IGP comes out to write a long letter to say it's not fair, he's measuring that based on his effort. But I'm saying that just like us, we do our work, people criticize us. Take that feedback, look at it, and make sure you're on the straight and narrow, and hope that over time the public confidence will rise. I think that's the best approach to use. But if you blame other people for your own, if you say the reason people don't trust me is because one or two people are criticizing me, I'm saying that if you look at that Afrobarometer thing that we read, there are about 7 institutions all coming down. Okay, so the right thing to do is to do a self-diagnosis and say, why are we declining in public trust? And what can we do to bring it back? If it includes engaging the politicians and say, guys, the way you do your policy is not helping. In addition to the way we also do our work, we should do it that way. But I hesitate to agree to saying the reason why institutions are coming down is because we're attacking them. That's the end of the matter.
I think that is to mischaracterize what I've said.
Then characterize it.
By introducing the Domolovo example,
yes,
I had made a concession that the judiciary itself has contributed to this matter.
Okay.
So don't characterize it as me saying that it is only because they are criticizing. But the unfair criticism and the attacks are contributing to this matter in a very huge way, very substantial way. Why am I saying so? Until the Kufuor administration added a judge to the Supreme Court, or judges to the Supreme Court, as to increase the number for a decision made regarding Chachuchi Kata to be overturned, to a large extent, we did not have this problem. Although people held the view that Rawlings had packed the court with, apparatchiks, you understand? But the Supreme Court was not as attacked at the time as this. The court made a decision that the fast-track High Court was alien to the Constitution, and therefore let's not even go there. The president of the day felt aggrieved. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as of the time the Attorney General, had to do something about it. John Kufuor made an appointment, or invited the Parliament to vet somebody and then to put justice. I've forgotten the name of the justice.
Afre.
Yeah, he must have been Afre. Yes, he must have been Afre. The late Afre. Added that to the panel, and what was the decision was reviewed. And on review, the court said that, as for the fast-track High Court, is the right thing. Now
so in that case, can you blame the public for feeling that the executive has influenced?
No, hold on. You see, so first of all, the question we should ask is whether the president has the authority to do that. That's one thing. And whether the court has the power to review its own decisions.
But does the public also have a right to believe what they want?
That's okay.
You see, we are not questioning your power. We are questioning whether the way you exercise the power is fair.
No,
you get it? So it's not. We are not.
Allow me to finish my point.
You are mischaracterizing what I'm saying.
I'm not mischaracterizing your
We
point.
don't disagree with the power for a judge to do what they do. But we also have a right to believe what we want about whether what you've done is right or wrong.
Okay, so you see, the proper attitude to such a development is to first of all explain that, look, the president has the power to appoint, right? And he has done that. The president has the power to call the Attorney General has the power to ask for review of a decision. That has been done. Now, on the law, the logic as articulated by the judges, is that in tandem with the law as we know it generally? That's the question you should ask. You don't go to the court of public opinion and say that, Kufuor is packing the...
No, I am not saying that. But you also have said before that when discretionary power is given to a person, the person must exercise the discretionary power. You use a certain word. I want to remember the word. You always
must be fair.
Yes, you always say that.
Candid.
You said that discretion
and not be capricious.
Exactly. You see, so while we don't quarrel with the discretionary power, if the people feel that discretionary power was capriciously used, they can still criticize the decision
and then take steps to have it cured. You understand?
You are a lawyer, so you believe in the system. Fine. I'm not having a quarrel with you. You see, but what I'm saying is that don't forget, I'm using Afrobarometer. I'm telling you that over the past decade and a half, there has been a decline in trust in institutions. The sober thing to do is to go and ask why. Across the various areas, because it's police, it's judges, it's everybody. In fact, the only group that you can say survived the 3 cycles was the army. They came down and went back up. So as we speak, they have 65%. They are the most trusted. And some democratic purists are worried that how can you have all these pillars of democracy and only the armed forces are trusted by the public? Can you legislate that? No. The public have a right to believe based on how they interpret everything. So I am saying that there are two responses. Institutions must all look at the report independently. Police, judiciary, everybody, and say, Charlie, how much of this is our cause and how much of this is spin?
I agree with you.
And distill that and address. That's all I'm saying. So even we in the media as well, we have a part of that to do. So I am not going to, I won't leave what I have to do as a journalist to correct my wrongs and focus on what other people are doing to harm me. Because there are people who do programs to attack me every day. I can't spend my life looking at that, but I can decide that, okay, let me make sure that I'm objective, I'm candid, I'm fair, I'm rigorous. Now, I believe that when I do that consistently, fair-minded people, because not everybody is fair-minded, fair-minded people will acquit me and say, this guy, we trust him.
Yeah, but you see...
And I'm saying that should be the attitude of all of us.
I agree with you. I agree with you largely. But you see, the point I'm also making is that, look, if a judge goes to collect koklo in order to direct justice in a certain way, we all will come out and say that this is wrong. And we should all be fair enough to come to that conclusion. And we did that in the, the Anas case. Except some people took the view that, the way the evidence was obtained had issues. But when a president exercises his authority to appoint, Parliament in its own wisdom says that, look, these people are good enough to go. They did not sit in the way of the matter to say that you don't become a Supreme Court judge. The person goes to sit and makes a decision. And you don't have any basis in law, really, to say that, this decision is wrong in law. All you say is that, because you happen to be a former NPP something or NDC something, that's why you took that decision. That is where my beef is, as a huge part of the problem. Because, look, Justice Atuguba, a distinguished justice by all standards, suffered that. Yeah. When they were hearing the petition, you and I sat here. I was hosting the hearing of the election petition. Anytime the man dissents,
somebody even went to insult him.
Exactly.
It even ended some polling in jail.
Exactly. So you see, what I'm saying is that the MPP people, as of that time, knew that what they were doing was wrong, but they wanted to build a certain public perception and momentum.
It's become part of our political
against the Supreme Court.
Yes.
And the NDC is now following that particular path. Of course, recently Bernard Mona also followed that particular path. I'm saying that, look, these are the so-called special category of people. We ourselves say, when we have an issue, we should go to them to resolve it.
It is in our interest to protect.
It is in our interest to protect it.
Fair enough.
Once, if you have any basis in law,
you've made that point.
Or in fact, to attack the decision, go back to them.
You've made that point, and you see that point is true. But that does not invalidate my addition.
No, I understand.
So you don't need to keep straining to repeat.
No, I'm just.
You see,
I'm
you can have two. You see, it's not opposing.
No, I agree to that.
You can have two side-by-side views. It's called balance. You see, so the fact that I emphasize one side and emphasize the other side doesn't mean I'm disagreeing with you. It's just basically saying that those two truths equally hold. That's the way life works.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that
your emphasis as a lawyer.
You see, I'm speaking as a lawyer.
I'm speaking
and
as
I
a
know
normal
what
person.
I am telling my colleagues. That you see, the level of irresponsibility. And let me add this. Let me add this, bro. I sat at home at some point and listened to a member of parliament, a celebrated member of parliament, say that judges have gone to make a decision and he disagrees, so they are interfering with the work of parliament, and I'm going to haul them to parliament so that there will be contempt.
Okay, that's his view.
I don't think
that's his view. He said contempt.
No, you see, hold on.
Somebody say you go to parliament. Why is that a problem?
Hold on, Bernard. You see, it is not his view because the constitution itself says that when a judge sitting in his chair makes a decision, not even the president,
no problem,
or the speaker can question that decision anywhere.
But
you see, a gullible public, with the greatest respect to the public, would swallow that hook, line, and sinker and say that, when judges make decisions parliament disagrees with, they can hold them before court for contempt.
You are the one who told us that in law, for everything there are two sides. So even though you strongly disagree with him, it's possible that some people may agree
with the greatest respect.
There are very few things in this world that are Gandhi like that.
Bernard, hold on. With the
fact that somebody said he thinks that somebody is in contempt of parliament and you think that he's wrong,
Bernard,
does not necessarily mean that he's wrong.
Bernard, you see, with the greatest respect, yesterday I gave you a constitutional provision on the subject matter. It is not something that I am saying on the basis of just saying.
Is there such a thing as parliamentary contempt?
There is parliamentary contempt.
So maybe he's misapplying it, but that's his understanding. I'm saying that shouldn't be a problem you should litigate. That's his view.
It's a very, with great respect, miseducated
yes,
view.
That's based on your view.
No, the language of the constitution is clear. Thank you very much.
Even Bible says people misinterpret it. What are you talking about? Well, that I don't even know where to go with this. But I will just say that all of us should go and read the Afrobarometer report. And the part that affects us, we should look at it with humility and do what it asks us to do. I looked at even private media. Yeah, about 19% of the people say they are mostly corrupt, and another 60-something say they are sometimes corrupt. Right? Public media too had the same. I need to think about that. I can't blame social media for that. I have to look at my own work and my consistency. Yes, there are people who go out to do minya, but that doesn't mean that I should say that means that all the negative perception is because of the social media. You have to. And the good thing is Afrobarometer have been doing since 1999. You see, and they've done it for everybody. So if you say police Afrobarometer, it's not fair. I think the Afrobarometer is fair. You get it? I think the most credible poll we had in the past 2 decades. Is there any poll
on this continent?
No. And they've done it in Ghana since 1999. Wow. Can you imagine? That's 24 years. So
it's as reasonable a measure of.
And they are releasing one tomorrow.
Public sentiment as you.
They are releasing the 10B tomorrow. So we should all go and collect it and read it quietly.
Josephine, you know what to do.
Charlie, Afrobarometer is coming. We'll be back. This Citi Breakfast Show. Legal people. You can't intimidate us.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Ghana's biggest housing event, the Mikasa Home and Property Fair, is here. Whether you're looking to buy an elegant house, a cozy apartment, or genuine land, come and meet over 50 top developers, home loan specialists,
928 Citi Breakfast Show. The Mikasa Home and Property Fair is happening this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 2nd and 3rd November. 2 days to interact with some known specialists, home improvement retailers, and essentially everything to do with housing. In studio, I have the PR and marketing head at Mikasa, Daniela Asariedu.
Hi, Bernard.
Second
second coming.
Second appearance in the same month. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Wonderful. Ifua Owusu is the head of residential business unit at Gold Key Properties. They are the headline sponsors. Ifua, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Maurice Awad, CEO of IVR Properties. He's a speaker at the fair.
Yes, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
God is kind.
Wonderful. So, Daniel, let's start with you. So, reiterate what the Mikasa Home and Property Fair is all about.
Casa Home and Property Fair is your one-stop shop for all your housing needs.
Okay.
Regardless of where you are within your home ownership journey or your housing journey, it's the place for you. If you're looking to buy a property, to rent a property, if you're looking for apartments to buy for investment purposes, you're looking for genuine land, you're looking to have mortgage conversations, you're looking for legal expert advice, great networking, the Mikasa Home and Property Fair is for you, because we have all the top developers in the city, all home specialist expert, all in one place.
Wow.
And we say that come and have interactions with these people.
What preparations have been made so far, and what should attendees expect as the day draws closer?
Okay, so everything is set. I mean, the venue is ready. Our exhibitors are ready. If you're coming to the fair, you're expecting to meet, as I said earlier, if you're looking to buy properties in prime areas, for instance, Gold Key is there. Clifton Homes is also there in prime areas like Airport, Cantonment, Laboni. If you're looking to buy properties in emerging areas, now I don't even know if we can still call them emerging. They are probably emerged.
Yeah, they've merged. They've merged in the center.
Yeah, so in Oyarifa, the Special Gardens, you're looking at Uyibi and Dodowa, there's Apollonia City.
Yeah.
If you're looking for security at home, smart installations in your home, there's Bumblebee Security, there's latex foam for your furniture needs, mortgage, the Stanbic. So there's something in there for everybody.
Okay.
So that's who you should come and expect to meet this weekend.
Let's talk to Ifua briefly. So you're the headline sponsor, and this is not the first time. It's almost like we are multiple time headline sponsor from Mikasa. So tell me about Gold Keys and why Mikasa is the place for you.
So over the last couple of years, I think we started in 2019, and every year we have sort of been headline sponsor for Mikasa. It's proved to give us good leads and driven traffic to our platform. So it's been helpful. We are also on the online portal, and it's extremely helpful.
Okay, tell me about Gold Keys, by the way. Who are you guys? What do you do? Is it Gold Key or Gold Keys?
Gold Key.
Gold Key, just one key. Okay.
Just one key.
Gold Key.
But it's very powerful.
Yeah. All right.
So Gold Key, we started in 1997. We've been in business for the last 27 years.
Yeah.
We initially started with building residential, and then we moved on to the commercial aspect, with the Elizabeth being our first building in Airport, with Virgin Atlantic as our anchor tenant at that time.
Okay.
Over the years, we have expanded. We have built in areas like Cantonment, Ridge, Airport, East Legon, Lagonia, Belingpe, you name it.
Wow.
We have covered, I think, about 200,000 square meters in across the country, transforming the landscape.
Wow.
The good thing, what makes us actually unique is the fact that we have, it's either, for developers, either they're doing residential or commercial, but for us, we have both.
Yeah.
We have residential and commercial. Commercial, after the Elizabeth, the next one was Huawei, developing the entire Cantonment City, which we're pretty advanced now with the Vivo building, PwC,
the whole place has changed.
It's changed completely with the new residential building as well.
There's one they're doing across.
Yes.
That's the
it's
latest.
called Skyview. So it's
My God.
a mixture of the because we needed parking space, multi-story car park, as well as office spaces and retail.
Wow.
That's actually available for lease, so they can reach out to us. Yes.
You own that area.
Completely.
Amazing. So for this year's fair, what should attendees look forward to with Gold Key when they come to your stand?
It's very exciting. On the sale aspect, we are offering 10 to 15% discount. We're entering Chado. Yes, we're entering Chado Market, and we have apartments there. We'll be selling at discounted prices. It's called the Resilience. So they should look forward to that. It's starting at They should call me.
They should call you. You want to be
The way I
careful.
did,
Yeah.
they should call me because it's actually really it's under $1 million Ghana cedis
And you're giving 10 to 15% discount
on that. Yes.
And this is for the fair.
For the fair.
So if you come to meet us at Mikasa, you can get the
But
discount.
apart from that, exciting, there'll be a raffle on our stand.
Is it?
Opportunity to win a return ticket with accommodation to Dubai.
Is it?
Weekend stay at our Parliament, Cantonment City.
Wow.
A full voucher from Shell
Hey.
and Nova, which is our subsidiary under the CH Group. Gift vouchers for Abo Cafe, Burger Boys and Vida E Cafe, all within the Cantonment City enclave, encouraging you to come into the city. A pair of glasses from Dash and Obsession and a device from Huawei.
Amazing.
So all of this come to the fair. There'll be a raffle and you'd have the chance to win one of these. But a return ticket to and accommodation to Dubai.
Yeah, that sounds
definitely.
interesting. We're
Very
still talking to friends from the Mikasa Home and Property Fair happening this weekend, Saturday and Sunday throughout the day. And I have in studio the head of marketing and PR, Mikasa, Daniela Osasariedu. She's here with Ifeo Owusu, who's the head of residential at the headline sponsor, Goldkeep Properties. Now let's come to one of the speakers for the event. So Morris Awad, CEO of IVI Properties, it happens to be a speaker. But before let's talk a bit about IVI. What do you do at IVI Properties?
So IVI, we like IVI Properties. It's we're about 13 years in the game already so far. We're a property management firm, property developers, and also essentially like to help people generate as much value as possible from their assets. So we've been doing that for the past, like I said, 13 years, and God has been kind.
So you're speaking on the topic how to select the perfect property.
Yes.
Amazing. So give me a hint of some of the things you say. What are some of the things I should be looking at?
Okay, so I mean, like I would advise everybody to come over the weekend, then I can give more details. But it's just those minute details in terms of how to select a proper investment property or an investment. Or property in general, because obviously not everything is for an investment. So some people are buying their first home, some people are buying assets for capital appreciation, or some people are buying assets for the revenue generation. So you need to be able to identify which is which, because not everything fits that mold. And so it's just about being a bit strategic about how you go about it.
So you'll be speaking. So how many speakers are we expecting?
There are two speakers.
Yes. So you and then the other gentleman on land.
Yes,
I see.
He'll be speaking on the Sunday.
Okay, so you're speaking on Saturday.
Yes.
Amazing stuff. But you'll not be exhibiting, you're just speaking.
No, just
You're
speaking.
just a speaker.
Yeah.
I see. So let's talk about other sponsors and exhibitors. Who else is sponsoring? Who else is exhibiting?
Yes, so apart from Goldkey, there's Clifton Homes. Clifton Homes is a household name.
Yeah.
Developers of the gallery in Shiashi and their latest Lockswood, they will be there as well. Apart from Goldkey. And then other developers in there.
Amazing. So is this too late to register? And I'm asking for exhibitors and sponsors and also participants. You need to register to come.
So we still have a few booths left.
Okay.
So if you're still interested in exhibiting, now is a good time. So you can call 050-168-0737. That's 050-168-0737.
Okay.
But it's free to attend.
Just come.
Just come.
Where is this happening?
Movenpick. Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. Saturday
inside or
and
outside?
Sunday.
Where, which part?
Inside, the cozy inside.
The cozy inside of
Yes.
Movenpick Hotel. All right.
Yes.
So this is on Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
From 9 a.m.
9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And for our diasporans, they are not left out. We're getting some feedback that they would like to be a part of it. So we'll be live on Channel 1 TV on Saturday afternoon, where they can tune in, see all the offerings exactly, and get in touch.
Amazing! Can't wait! Any last words from you, Fua? What should we expect from you?
So we should I'm encouraging everyone to come in the numbers. Come and just listen, because it's very important. Buying a property is a journey. Take your time.
Yeah.
Come listen. Come interact with the developers and start your home buying journey now.
Wow.
10 to 15% on our childhood development, and a chance to win a ticket
to Dubai. Look out for Goldkeep Properties and also go to the session. What time are you speaking? What time is your session?
At 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Yes.
3 p.m. So that's the peak of the program. You hear Mr. Awad delivering some wisdom on Airbnb and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're an Airbnb guy.
So yeah, service accommodation. So I mean, like I said, there's the good thing is that obviously Airbnb at this point has become a verb at this point too.
Yeah.
That's how we like to do it. But
Yeah.
it's about service accommodation and just the best ways to go about it. Because look, I always say this that in 2024, if you remember, not even 2024, back in the day we used to have something called innkeepers. Right, so an innkeeper would be the one who knows this type of person. He knows, okay, when this man comes to my place, he likes his bed in this way, he likes his pillows this way, he likes this and that. We are the modern day innkeepers, and with that being said, that we need to think outside the box and say, how can we bring value for our guests that come? Because hospitality is a key facet to the Ghanaian culture.
Wonderful.
So then we're doing our best to make sure we continue that.
Nice meeting you again, Morris Awad, IVI Property, speaking on Saturday at the Mikasa Home and Property Fair. If we're from Gold Keys, she says there's a lot on offer, 10-15% discount, a raffle that could send you to Dubai to buy a lot of things. And of course, Daniela coming through again, Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Quality Awards on the theme Navigating the Uncertainties of Our Business Landscape to Sustain Productivity. It's on Wednesday, November 20, 6 p.m. Accra International Conference Center. Sponsors Goil, Rana Motors, Olam, Agri, GCB Bank, B5 Plus, Promotional, etc., etc. For tickets, call 024 449 9101. That's 024 449 9101. And Omni Basic Bank has been at it for the past few years, the fastest growing corporate and bank of the year 2023. Always at your service, ready to assist you with our 24-hour state-of-the-art contact center. Look for a branch close to you or call 0307 086 000. Omni Basic at your service. And Eden Heights is a well-planned and secure gated community with access to modern facilities, including a sports complex, Olympic-sized swimming pool, football court, etc. 2, 3, and 4 bedroom apartments and penthouses with the highest grade. The highest grade of finishing for rental and for sale. Now we are at West Hills Mall behind the West Hills Mall in Weja and Accra. You may reach us on 0501 531 445. Eden Heights, the heights of modern living.
Yeah, man. And Accra, get ready for an unforgettable theater experience. It's going to be a Ghana-Nigeria heat. Join General Ntatia from Ghana, Brain Jota, Nigeria, Clemento Serres back here in Ghana, and Adjoa Ollins Lindsay, adopted Nigerian, for a night of laughter, drama, and great moments. The venue is the National Theatre. It's happening on the 8th of November this year. Time is 4 p.m. for the first show and 8 p.m. for the second, and the Bukum Boxing Arena on the 9th of November 2024 at 7 p.m. You play me, I play you. Ghana and Nigeria, who can play? Rep your jersey and come, let's find out together. To purchase tickets, simply dial *713 *33 *10 hash or visit *713 *33 hash or visit africaartsnetwork.com or egotickets.com or go to the various locations: Airport, Shell, Bachona, Total, Rocks, Watches, Silverbird Cinema, etc. Call this number 0541 234-586. You Play Me, I Play You is powered by Africa Arts Network in collaboration with Challenging Heights, sponsored by Pepsodent, Star Life Assurance, York's Rent a Car, Tilly's, and McPhillips Foods.
If you want good insights from your data for decision making, you can join the Data Analytics and AI Revolution and empower your team to work smart, save time, and deliver insights from data using the world's most powerful business tools: Microsoft Excel, Power BI, ChatGPT, and Copilot. Finance Skills Hub offers a hands-on practical training to corporate and individuals in the data analytics with Excel and Power BI, leveraging AI tools for great productivity. Call Finex on 0244 782356. That's 0244 782356. Or visit finexskillshub.com to sign up for our corporate and individual training packages.
Now, if you want to sleep better tonight and you want furniture that's crafted with your ultimate relaxation in mind, visit Latex Foam. That's their promise. Call them on 0302-231-155, 0302-00849. Visit www.latexfromghana.com and sleep better tonight.
Bring to life our dreams. We out here, we don't adhere to regular rules. Our mama's faster than brain for.
And to the mothers, your favorite Cerelac now comes in a new variant with a combined goodness of wheat and maize grains, fortified with iron, vitamins, and minerals. And guess what? This new Cerelac wheat and maize comes at an affordable price of only 2 Ghana cedis. Just add milk to it, because with this Cerelac, here any milk Cerelac care for them. Count on us. It's an advert that's FDA approved. Cerelac.
We don't adhere to regular rules. Our mama's faster than brain for our circular foods. With some reckless dudes, last for shoes and Jews. New chucks, custom.
comments yesterday. The AG questioned the qualification of the Speaker's lawyer during the Supreme Court case. I wonder if the Speaker will willingly ask the AG to present him after this. Additionally, I predict another Senate adjournment in the upcoming parliamentary session. Well, it's happening first week in November. The Speaker says they're coming back. Good morning, Sky. I fully agree with the Supreme Court's ruling. However, can you explain who oversees the actions of the Supreme Court? It appears we might be practicing Supreme Court supremacy. Okay, Bernard, I think we should be looking at whether the so-called democracy we brag about is translating to proper development in terms of economy and love for the nation, integrity and corruption, etc. This is Duke in Enum. What is the role of the Attorney General in this case for him to be mentioned as a second defendant? This is purely a case between Parliament and Speaker versus a member of Parliament. More comments. Given that our Parliament is so deeply partisan, anything that favors the majority inevitably passes. Does this mean that if they appoint a judge that's perceived to lean in his favor, in their favor, it's effectively unchangeable? It seems the minority has no real chance. They will have their say, but the majority always has their way. This is Courage in Koforidua. But another similarity between the US and Ghana political system is that the Republican Party and the MPP have its core membership being people who have mindsets that are genuines of their respective countries. Okay, that they are the genesis of their respective countries. Okay, they say the white conservatives of the US usually found the Bible Belt of the US, and the accounts found in the Galamsey Belt of Ghana. As for this thing, it says the Democrats and the NDC have their core membership being a coalition of all other groups, African American, people of different descent, Hispanics, and Asian descent. Same to NDC. These are interesting comparisons.
No clues. Curious knife stabbed us, now we bleed and bruise. Confusing ones with needs.
More comments. When we recognize and accept this fundamental principle, only then can an MP vote against policies by his party or leave a bad, corrupt party. Let's be careful. Our political lawyers are arrogating to themselves autocratic powers which are alien to democratic system of governance. Okay, this is Terry. Very long message from Terry.
15 years though, I'm distinguished, so they can't extinguish my flow. I overpowered all these cowards, them no good.
Finally, good morning, Bernard and team. I think it's high time the Constitution was translated into another language so that everyone can read and understand it on their own. Gilbert from K University, I agree with you. We should have a local version or different language versions of the Constitution, for which then we would have easier conversations. And yeah, who knows? It would reduce some of the unnecessary arguments.
The blackness to keep on. Never say die, keep on.
Caleb Kuda. Thank you.
Good morning. This is the Election Bureau. I am Caleb Kuda, and coming up, over 500